Good morning, everybody. Welcome to tonight's CISL subcommittee meeting to the school committee. Do we have any, Dr. Cushing, do we have anybody participating remotely?
We do not.
Okay, great. Thank you again for coming tonight. Today is Wednesday, April 29th. The time is now 6:15. We have a full agenda today. We are going to start by approving the minutes from March 11th. We're then going to have some discussion from our student representatives. And then we have a high school CTE experience, pathways programs, and early education and early college program presentation for us. And then we're going to discuss a couple policies that we need to review. I'm going to start by taking attendance. We'll start with our active members. Ms. Frost? Here. Ms. Lennox?
Here.
We have Dr. Cushing, Ms. Puglisi, Ms. Erin Brown. Here. Resident Representative Michael Cassidy.
Here.
Nora McQuarrie.
Here.
Lorgan Sudak. Here. And we have Casey Fiore.
Hi. Here.
We have Sadie Brennan.
Here.
Isaac Basset.
Here.
Delphine, Victoria De La Cruz, Tyler Kochik, and Henry Weller.
Here.
Thank you. If I could ask, would you mind doing the Pledge of Allegiance? No. You don't have to. Ms. Brown, would you mind leading us? Okay, great. That's okay. Don't worry. The first time somebody asked me, I was like, oh. Sure. You don't have to do it. Just leave it. Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible. That's what we do. And that's just for all. We don't do it every day. All right, we have called to order. We've taken attendance first and done the pledge. First order of business is to review the minutes from March 11th, 2026. All the members would have received a copy of those minutes in your packet. Does anybody have any questions, edits, or comments? Okay, great. There's an asterisk next to that on the agenda, so that is an action item which requires that we take a vote. Hold on one second. Let me just organize myself for a second. Dr. Cushing, you okay? Oh, he's going in there. Okay. Let's see. Ms. Lennox.
Yes.
Oh, wait. I think I need a motion to approve the minutes first, please. Sorry. Excuse me.
I will.
Can I take that as
yes,
a first? Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. I think everybody is here in person, so I can do an all in favor of approving the minutes from March 11th, 2026. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right. That passes 11-0. And then we have, if our student reps are ready, we're happy to take some updates from you all. Whoever wants to start first is great. Thanks.
Hello, I'm Isaac. I'm the representative from the junior class. To start, the junior prom is next Friday at Black Swan Country Club. The tickets are no longer available and sold out, with a total of 253 tickets sold. Also, tomorrow is the music department's trip to Hershey Park. We board the bus at 7:30 a.m. and the trip goes from Thursday to Sunday in the afternoon. All the ensembles will be competing in the Dolphin High School and Hershey Middle School competition, which brings schools from all around to compete. We'll also be visiting a couple other places such as Hershey Park, the Gettysburg, and Amish country. I'm personally very excited to be doing this trip, and I can't wait to participate. And then the fourth quarter is finally here, and AP testing is about to start next week, and it's going to go for a couple weeks. I don't know the exact date when AP testing stops, but I know it's before the end of the next month.
Hello everyone, good evening. My name is Sadie. I am the senior representative from the high school. So spring sports are off to a great start at the high school. We're about that midpoint in the season. The school's spring musical of Freaky Friday went very well with raving reviews from parents and community members alike. Seniors have just started their REACH internships this most previous week, and those will be ongoing till the end of the month. Senior prom, just a reminder, is June 4th at the Willowdale Estate this year, and ticket sales are still ongoing. And the spring concert for the music department at BHS will be next month on May 19th, so be sure to check it out. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for having me this evening. I'm one of the middle school representatives, Tyler, and Victoria couldn't be here this evening, but that's fine. In math, we're preparing for the MCAS that is coming this weekend, or Thursday or Friday. It's a lot of like preparation, going over what we learned previously in the year, and I hope I'm going to do well. I'm on the track team, so is Tyler. Our very first meet is happening this Friday. I wish it was on a Thursday, but it's Friday. And we're going up against Danvers. It's going to be here, so if anyone would like to come and watch me run the 100 and 200. And yeah, would you like me to cover what they talked about, what they were going to talk about? Or? Sure, whatever you would. Okay, yeah. In English, we started reading about the Holocaust and a book called Night from Elie Wiesel. Personally, as a German, I find that very good that we're learning about that. I like that a lot. In civics, we're doing a lot of learning. I should have wrote this down. Sorry, Mr. Fiore. Sorry.
It's all forgettable. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. We're learning a lot about the electoral and campaign and stuff like that. And in science, we're doing a lot of abundant element resources, talking about different types of. We just ended a weather unit, so we're moving on to, I think, geological, more geological topics. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, everybody. That is one of my favorite parts on the agenda. I think that's what we're all here for, right? Is for you guys. So it's really kind of nice to hear about what you guys are doing. And I think you guys always really do a great job giving us the updates. So thank you. You're, of course, welcome to stay. But if you have things happening, I see Sadie has maybe some swim goggles on. So I don't know if you're coming from an activity or going, but I'm going. Awesome. Well, good luck. Thank you for coming. Thank you so much, you guys. Great job, you guys. Thank you. He'll just take it off your grade. It's fine. And then next we have a discussion about, as I said, the high school CTE experience, pathways programs, and early college programs.
Okay, tonight we have Julie from the high school with some students, and she's going to share some information on our early college program, career pathways, and CTE and After Dark programs. And this is a topic that came up at the beginning of the year that was of interest to the committee, and it's just, it's wonderful to hear from the students, and so I'm looking forward to hearing their perspective, just giving us more information about the programs and the unique offerings at our high school and how they experience them. So thank you very much, Ms. Farrar.
Thank you very, very much, Mrs. Brown, for this opportunity. I thought I could read without my laptop, but I'm going to put it here just in case. I can't see that far. Thanks again for the opportunity, Mrs. Brown, and to the committee and all the members, Superintendent Cushing. It's always a wonderful experience for me to be able to talk about what we offer students at the high school. It's especially important tonight because I have 6 fantastic students here with me who are going to speak to you about their experiences in these 3 programs and why they chose them. So I'm very excited to do this. I would be happy to come back anytime to talk about our college and career readiness programming at the high school and all the work that our school counseling team does. So again, thank you for the opportunity. I'm going to try to be brief with my slides. That'll be a challenge for me. So the first slide I just wanted to show because I wanted to give a shout out to our school counseling team at the high school. These are counselors also known as guidance. And over the years, the terminology has changed a bit away from the term guidance and more towards school counselors. But I think for this purpose, I just wanted to differentiate our counseling team here is really focused on not only the personal social aspects of students and supporting them there, and also with academics, but they spend a lot of time helping students with their post-secondary plans, and that includes career choices and possibly college choices, and there's a myriad of other options for students: military, gap year, trade schools, certificate programs, employment, and this team of fantastic counselors work diligently to help every student find a plan that works best for them. So I would just really like to give them a shout out here. And we also have a member, on that slide, we have a member of our team at the middle school, Maggie Lilly. She also helps support the 8th graders as they transition to the high school. So it's a lot of vertical alignment. Thank you. Okay, and this is one other thing I really feel the need to shout out because it's very special for our team. We applied for RAMP, and if you're not familiar with that terminology, there is a national organization, the American School Counseling Association, ASCA, and they offer this designation to school counseling programs if they're willing to dive in and look at data and look at programming and to offer what we've accomplished with students and for students and showing outcomes. So we went through the process, our high school team, along with Maggie Lilly, to really gather all of this data and how we support students and how we directly work with students. And we applied and we received the award. So I just would like to shout out my team because they worked really hard for this and acknowledge that designation. We are the only school, Beverly High School, in Massachusetts with this designation. So that's something for us to be very proud of. And just something I wanted to show on this slide was really how we showed competency. And I could do a presentation that could last the whole night on this because it was a lot of information gathering, but it was essentially about the counselor impact on student data. So looking at attendance, achievement, and discipline, and how counselors are able to impact those data points, and also on our tiered approach of direct service. So that's using the MTSS model, and how counselors deliver tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 levels of service to students, and aligning with the national standards and the learning objectives. So we had to pull a lot of data together. So that's a shout out to my team. Okay, so moving on to the most important part, our students and our programming and how it has impacted them. This is one thing that also differentiates a guidance department or a school counseling team from maybe some other counselors that we have in the district, some more focused on mental health. In our programming, we're really looking at college and career readiness. So the best way to show you visually is this continuum that we have. So it's a continuum of where students become aware of potential careers and college or post-secondary options, and then they move into exploration where they look a little deeper. And then the last phase of this is the immersion. So tonight we're talking about immersion programs for college and career readiness. So that means essentially where students are actually in it. They're actually working either within a college model, they're being exposed to college coursework, or they're actually working towards a career experience where they're immersed essentially in learning the skills required to attain that career. So our continuum starts essentially in 8th grade here at the middle school with Maggie Lilly's work, and then the counseling team at the high school works on all of these levels of the college and career readiness continuum with students in classes and one-on-one. So our first program to discuss tonight is our BHS Career Pathways program. We're very proud of this. We have 6 identified career pathways. And one thing to note is most of these were all homegrown pathways at one point. A few years back, we had a committee of teachers, counselors, administrators who worked on what are some ways we could kind of carve out a place for students to line up a series of courses that would help them get ready for a particular career. So the work that they did years ago really helped us move this program forward and apply for designation with the state. And we currently have 3 of our 6 pathways approved and designated by the state as innovation career pathways. So if you look at what we offer, we have a business and finance pathway, business and marketing, education, environmental and life science, healthcare and social assistance, and hospitality. The 3 programs that are designated by the state are the business and finance, the environmental and life science, and the healthcare and social assistance. And why only those 3? That's because those are equivalent pathways that the state recognizes. For us at the high school, we found that we also have a very robust business and marketing program at the high school. Education is certainly a pathway that we want to perpetuate. And hospitality, we have a great program there as well, which includes culinary, marketing, and business. So those 3 programs, although there is not a state designated innovation pathway equivalent, we still offer the pathway in those fields with the same criteria, which I'll explain next. So in order for a student to choose a pathway, typically at the end of 9th grade, they're offered these choices. So if you want to just go back one slide, Mrs. Brown. In the 9th grade, they're introduced to the idea of the pathways, and they can choose if they want to partake. And I'll explain like what it entails next. Thank you. So each pathway has 3 components. The first is a course sequence that requires students to complete 20 credits in courses connected to that pathway. The second component is students get the chance to participate in a mentorship program in grade 10 or 11. And then the third facet of this is the senior internship program that's aligned with that career pathway. Okay. And so here, just to show you, is what we have for course guides for each pathway. And so we probably don't have much time to really look at that, but each one of these are links to the flow sheet. Okay, yeah, we could look at one if we have, see if it comes up. Yes, so each pathway has a flow sheet, essentially. So it's like a menu of courses that students need to take or can choose from to complete their 20 credits. And there is a required course, which I'm going to talk about next, My Future Career Success. That course is where students in 10th or 11th grade, they're required to take it. That's where they do their mentorship program through. And every other area here requires at least 1 course in each category. So the state requires that every pathway has at least 1 advanced course that students take within the pathway. They also require that there's a technical course. So a course where students are learning something technical, like a technical skill related to that pathway. And then we have a menu of a bunch of other electives and core classes that align with that pathway that students can choose from. So that's the first component of the pathway, the course sequencing. Yep. No, that's great. The second component is the course, My Future Career Success. So students who choose a pathway, as stated before, they have to take this course in either 10th or 11th grade. And the bulk of this course, and to shout out to Missy Orr and Annie Flaherty, who have designed the curriculum for this course, and they're currently teaching this course to students, they have, thank you. This is a link to really a description of the course, but it highlights for you, like there's a visual there of what they're working on. So workplace readiness skills and also looking into networking within the field. So finding professionals in the community that would be willing to host them for up to 3 hours this spring. Then they go out and actually do 3 individual visits, 1 hour each, with that professional. And then finally, the last piece of the class is that they will present. So they put together a presentation about their experience, and that can be utilized for the freshmen. So freshmen have a sense of, okay, this is what I would be getting into if I chose a career pathway. Great. Thank you. And then the last piece of the Pathways program is our REACH Senior Internship Program, which I think Sadie spoke to tonight. Seniors currently, right now, just started their REACH Senior Internship period on Monday. So that lasts for 4 weeks. It's an immersive experience where students actually get to choose their site or the project that they want to complete related to a career of choice. So it's a 4-week experience. It's the 4th quarter of senior year. It's open actually to all seniors, but for students who choose a pathway, their alignment should include a placement or a project connected to their career of choice. So it's really wide open for all seniors, and seniors can come up with all kinds of interesting ideas of what to do and where to go, but students who are in a pathway should choose something aligned to their career for sure. Okay, now for the exciting part, my Pathways stars. So I'm going to introduce 2 students who are here tonight who are currently in a designated career pathway, and they're going to answer some general questions for me. And I believe they both started their mentorship this week. So that's not a question I have up on the board, but maybe that's something we can ask them about. So if Maya Batista and Hudson Wynn would join me here. That would be great. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to speak and answer these questions for us, if you would. Okay, so I have them right here. The first question is, why did you choose to be part of the BHS Career Pathways program, and what is your pathway?
So my pathway is the healthcare and social assistance, and I chose this pathway because I wanted to build my durable skills, and I really want to be a nurse. And I did my mentorship today, and I saw 4 procedures, which were colonoscopies. Yeah, and I thought it was really cool, and yeah.
Great, thank you. Go ahead, Hudson. Same question.
Hi, I'm in the hospitality pathway. I chose to be a part of this because I've always been interested in culinary, and through the pathway I found a lot more interesting things that are in the hospitality pathway that are like intertwined with culinary but are also different. I started my internship at the Wiley Inn today, and I got a tour of the Wiley Inn, and I got shown what goes into the running of the inn and all that stuff.
Awesome. I love that. Okay, future goals. What would you like to pursue for a career after high school? I think you answered, but go ahead.
I want to be an acute care nurse or either a CRNA. Yeah.
I don't actually have an exact job I want, but I know that I want to do something in either the culinary or the hospitality field, anything like that. I found it was looking at the inn and how that runs was very interesting to me. So that could be something I'm interested in, or like running a restaurant or being a chef or something like that.
All fun choices. Okay, and for the last question, how do you think being part of the BHS Career Pathways program will assist you overall?
So I think that the courses they give us, like in the credits, are really helpful, like anatomy and physiology, CPR. Like I was talking to a few nurses today, and I told them about the courses, and they said that those courses are very helpful. So.
As Maya mentioned earlier, durable skills, which is something we went over a lot in the beginning of this course, and those were very useful, and those are definitely something that everyone should know. So that was definitely a big impact on my life, I'm sure. And also getting an internship and getting like your foot in the door already early on is a really good thing.
Awesome. Anything else you want to add? No? Okay. Thank you so much. That was more than I could even ask for. That's so exciting. And just one thing to mention, if the students get into these mentorship experiences, maybe they can network and line those up for a future internship as well. So that's wonderful. Thank you both very much. Okay, our next program to speak about tonight is our CTE After Dark program. So CTE stands for Career and Technical Education, and the After Dark programs are designed to allow students to take courses in a CTE, an approved CTE program at another school in the afternoon. So after dark is kind of extreme. They're not really there after dark, but they are there in the second half of the day. But that's how the state has termed this program. Okay, so what is CTE After Dark? As I said, it's career and technical education. Students receive professional certification that requires them 900 hours of technical training. So they are in these programs in 11th and 12th grade for half the day, and you'll see a visual in a minute. So that amount of time immersed in these programs equals 900 hours. So that's what's required to receive the industry recognized certification associated with that field or that shop. So our students have a hybrid school day. So in the morning, they're on the BHS campus, and their first 2 blocks of each day is dedicated to their core academics and graduation requirements. And in the afternoon, they are with the partner school, so either Essex Tech or Salem High School, and they are in shop learning hands-on technical skills. This picture is our graduates from last year, I believe, at Essex Tech. And when they graduate from both schools. So they earn a Beverly High School diploma, and they earn a diploma from the other school, and they have their certification. So when they graduate, they could decide to go right into employment in that field because they have the certification in hand, or they could choose to go on to college. That's certainly an option for them as well. This is a sample schedule, just a visual of what an after dark student schedule may look like. So again, in the morning, they're getting their core requirements completed, and then they leave midday. A bus is provided. A bus picks students up at Beverly High School and brings them to their partner school program, and also drops them back off at the high school in the afternoon. Our first program is Essex Tech After Dark. So for next year, the available programs for students are advanced manufacturing, construction craft laborers, and early education and care. We've had some other programs years past, health assisting. Actually, we have a health assisting student here with us tonight. And also we had sustainable horticulture. That was another program. But for next year, these are the programs that Essex Tech is offering our students. We also have a partnership with Salem High School, and actually this was the first comprehensive high school to comprehensive high school program in the state. So we work with Salem High School. They do have shops there, and they provide the opportunity for our students to enroll in either automotive technology or medical assisting. And that has been consistent since we started the partnership with them for about 3 years. Okay, so now for the fun. We have our stars, our After Dark stars. So I have Christopher Burns Jr. and Logan Hall here. I'm going to call them up to the mic. Both of these students are seniors, so they are also in their internship or co-op phase right now. We might talk about that. Okay, Great. So let me pull the questions up right here. I'm just going to ask you both the same question. So the first question is, why did you choose to be part of the After Dark program, and what is your CTE program?
I chose to be part of the After Dark program. I'm in health assisting. I'm the health assisting student she's talking about. I chose to be a part of it because I've always been interested in healthcare. And the program that I got basically allowed you to get a CNA license your junior year, and then you can work your senior year. And yeah, so that was pretty much my main reasons for choosing it.
I chose the automotive program over at Salem, and I did it because, I mean, I like cars, and it's also just good skills to have.
Great. Love it. Okay. What would you like to do for career or for college after high school?
So after high school, I intended doing my undergrad at UMass Boston for basically a pre-med minor, essentially. And I want to be a physician's assistant in the future after high school.
After high school, I'm joining the Army Reserves, and then when I come back, I'm going to go to college, and then me and my dad are going to start a contracting company.
Awesome. I love it. And on that note, what are you both doing right now for REACH?
I'm working at well, my co-op job, the nursing home. It's Ledgewood Rehab facility. It's right above the hospital, Beverly Hospital.
I'm doing a project on sustainable energy and how it relates to the automotive industry and all that.
Awesome. Great. Thank you, guys. That was ad-libbed. I didn't tell them I was going to ask that. So they did great. And how do you think being part of the After Dark program will assist you overall?
I think overall, it kind of just gave me like a foot in the door to like all of healthcare really, and to like really see what it was like. I'm able to talk to nurses, NPs, PAs. I've talked to some doctors too, and I think it really just gave me a good sense of like what's good care and what's to really like help my career as a PA, and it really gave me that sense of that, especially starting as a CNA.
Knowing automotive stuff is just good to have in general if you drive, but also knowing how to work on engines, it's helpful for anything from trucks to other pieces of machinery. It's also good networking. If you know people who are in other shops, it's good for jobs. I can't think of the word. I'm working on it. Oh my God. It is. I'm blanking so hard.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's good. You did a good job.
I'm
That's
not
great.
nervous. It's just been a long day.
I know. CJ just came from work. He just hustled up to be here.
Back after this too.
Thank you guys so much. Anything else you want to add? No? Okay. Thank you so much. That's wonderful. I'm very proud of these two young men. They're about to graduate, and they've done an excellent job. Okay, so the last program to discuss is our partnership with North Shore Community College in offering our students an early college program. We're very proud of this program as well. This is our newest program. This is like our baby. We just were designated this year an early college school. So just to describe for you, this is a state program, and we had to apply for designation. It was a long process, a lot of paperwork, a lot of planning. Principal Thomas and I worked extremely hard on getting this program up and off the ground. So we're very proud of it, and we have our first cohort of students, the class of 2029. I have some representatives here tonight. Very exciting. But the purpose of early college is really to create partnerships, connecting local schools with their community college or other colleges nearby, to really give students access to college, and especially first-generation students So they can start college early during high school and get a sense of, well, I can do a college course and college is for me and I should continue to pursue college as a post-secondary option. So they're intentionally designed to help students from underrepresented backgrounds. We also open early college up to all students, but it is important for the state to recognize that we do prioritize students who might be first-generation college students. It is designed essentially to give students the opportunity to do college coursework while in high school during the school day, so it's equity and access for students. It's not like after school. It doesn't require that they go at night to take these courses or in the afternoon when they might have sports or they could have employment after school. So it's built into the school day and it aligns with graduation requirements. Okay, the next slide is a visual so you can see what courses are offered in this sequence. So at this time, we're offering a general pathway for early college. So it's not career specific. It is really allowing students who take part in this to be able to go into college in any career or any major after this. So all 5 of these courses will transfer to any college and students can take them and apply them to any major. So we have first year experience, speech, composition 1, intro to sociology, and a math course. And you can see that they're taking one course at a time. So they take them by semesters and they have 2 in sophomore year, 2 in junior year, and 1 senior year. The next slide, I believe, is a visual of, this is a sample schedule. So students will take these courses during one particular block on both days because professors and college schedules don't always align to our alternating day schedule at the high school. So students will be scheduled for these college courses like at the same time every single day. The professor won't be there every single day, but the block is there for students, and on every other day they'll have a directed study with support in the college course. Okay, so some frequently asked questions, just to review. Questions come up all the time about transportation. So are we providing transportation? Yes. Next year, that'll be the first year we're offering these courses to students. Courses will all be taught at the high school. So they won't be transported to the Danvers campus, but possibly in the junior year, we will be arranging for that. But next year, for their first time, we're going to have the courses right on our campus. Also, they align with the BHS requirements. So for graduation, they're not going to be behind or missing anything. Everything seamlessly translates between graduation requirements and the college courses. The college credits are recognized by all Massachusetts public colleges and universities. So for any of these students, they can transfer these exactly as they are into any community college or state college or state university or UMass system school. Any other private colleges will take these credits. They don't always align exactly because their criteria might be a little different, but they're direct transfer credits in any Massachusetts public college or university. Keep going. Okay, so the selection criteria is that it's actually open. It's open to all students. So we have 30 students currently registered for this program for our first cohort. So we had some students who reached out specifically because they wanted to be part of the program. And we had some students that we met with and had a discussion with it about. And it's really been great. And so we've had a lot of meetings with students in large groups and with parents. We offered an information session, Principal Thomas and myself, in the fall. And we're very happy with the number of 30 students partaking in this for the first year. And then some of these other questions are about like program withdrawal. Students can come out of the program if it's, if they change their mind at some point. They'll keep the college credits that they had earned so far, but they can certainly come out of the program. And then also for course selection, it does impact a little bit in 10th grade the number of electives they can choose. However, they are not restricted as far as any course they want to take. They can still take AP courses, other higher level courses they can combine with these early college courses. Okay, great. So now for the stars. Tonight we have Ronald Sabayo and Adabong Nuyatem, and they're here representing. They are part, like I said, of our very first cohort. They're excited, I believe, to be part of it, and I wanted them to have an opportunity to speak to you. So if you'd both come up. Thank you. And I'm going to ask you both the same question. So the first one is, why did you choose to be part of the early college program?
I chose to be part of the early college program because it just seems like such a amazing opportunity to go and explore these new options that aren't normally provided. And I love exploring just new things that I could do that would benefit me in the future.
I chose to join the early college program because I think it's a great reward for like all our hard work throughout from middle school and where we started, and I think it's a great opportunity for us to like see what the base of college is like before going into it. So it's going to be a lot simpler. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you. Future goals. What would you like to study after high school, maybe?
After high school, I've always been fascinated by engineering. I love robotics, computer, electrical, just anything that has to do with creating something new. I would love to see if I could expand on those dreams in the future.
After high school, I'm looking forward to going into science. I just love science. Anything that comes with science and math, I'm looking forward to exploring more in it. Yeah.
Love it. Okay, and how do you think being part of the early college program will assist you overall?
I think being in the early college program would assist me in having basically a head start. Since I want to do so many things, it's important to have already experience so I can go into it smoothly and focus on the more difficult tasks instead of, getting trapped on the first year experience stuff that would get me normally.
I think being in there will help me with both time management and organization, since during the classrooms we have both free classes to catch up with work from our other class, even though we're not going to miss classes. So I feel like it's going to help me a lot with my other classes, since I'll have extra time to work on my homework and I have someone to be there with me if I have questions.
Amazing. Anything else you want to say?
No, thank you.
Excellent job. Very exciting. And I don't know if I mentioned, but students are earning 15 college credits to take with them. So it's free college credits, and they're taking them on to college, which is amazing. So I think that might be the end of it.
So
Thank
we
you.
probably have a few questions for you.
Okay, sure. I'm ready.
I'm actually embarrassed that I don't know this, but under the old dual enrollment program that ran through a lot of high schools and community colleges, students could graduate high school with their high school diploma and an associate's degree. Are they able to still do that with the early college?
So with early college, they're going to finish with 15 credits. So 15 credits is the equivalent of one semester of college. Because if you think about it, it's 5, typically a college semester is 5 classes, so they will graduate with that. At the high school, we also have dual enrollment opportunities available to students. Currently, right now, we have 3 Endicott classes running for students. So students who are not in these programs can also just take a dual enrollment course when we have the opportunity to offer that to students. The 3 dual enrollment courses we're offering with Endicott are actually aligned with our career pathways. So we're able to fund those courses through the Innovation Career Pathways grant that we get from the state. So that also makes those courses free for students. That was just an added extra.
Okay. Does anyone else have any questions? Ms. McQuarrie?
First of all, thank you. That was a super exciting presentation. I love hearing all about that because as someone that found internships super valuable in college, I think it's awesome that we're kind of giving kids exposure on the sooner side. So that was really cool. My question, I guess, is for the Pathways program, maybe also relevant for the CTE After Dark. Is there any flexibility for students to change their pathway or their program if they decide it's not a good fit for them at any point?
Yes. Of course. So with the Pathways program, they can come in and out of, go from one pathway to another. If they can make the course sequencing work for them, certainly. They don't have to choose a pathway necessarily at the end of 9th grade. If they decide in 10th grade, I want to do a pathway, they can still join at that point. It's just that we kind of launch it in 9th grade for students so they know they can work on it from 10th through 12th grade. With the After Dark program, it's kind of a tighter timeline for them. They're applying at the end of 10th grade for their 11th and 12th grade year because they have to get those 900 hours in for certification. So that's kind of strict with the years when they start. However, if a student is, say, at one of the After Dark programs and they're not enjoying it, it's not aligned with what they want to do, they can come out of that and go right back into classes at the high school. You're welcome.
Also, thank you to everyone. That was so impressive. My question was just, you had mentioned Essex Tech had changed what they were offering for next year, but I assume that the kids already in programs can continue with the program they're doing? Okay.
Exactly.
Great.
Yes. So we do have some current juniors in the health assisting program. Logan's a senior, and he's graduating, obviously, but the juniors can continue in the health assisting for senior year, and same with horticulture.
Ms. Duchamp?
I want to applaud the kids. I turned it on, I must have turned it off. Thank you. I want to applaud the teachers, administrators that work so hard to put this programming together, and your staff. I like that you took a moment in the beginning to applaud them because I know that there's a lot of work that happens with these wonderful students that came here today. Initially and on an ongoing basis to make sure that they have access, that they are able to express concerns and thoughts, and that there's some fluidity to their decision making. So I appreciated that you started with that. I had a question about I know there was a couple hyperlinks. I didn't know if we could get copies of the slides. That'd be great. I know that we have an automotive student here, for example. Are any of the Essex Tech After Dark programs programs?
The construction, yes. Well,
CCL?
they help them get into the union if that's something that they would like to do. But yes, the construction craft laborers especially, yes.
Okay. I couldn't remember which ones at Essex Tech were union ones. And then I know, first of all, Mr. Brennan, I failed to acknowledge that you're here, and I apologize for that in the beginning. I'm so sorry. But I know Sadie mentioned that REACH just started, and I know that you mentioned that the internship was 4 weeks. Can you remind me, how long is REACH again?
Yes, so REACH is the internship program. It's called REACH, actually, and it is 4 weeks. So it started Monday, the 27th, and it ends on May 22nd. And then the week following that, we call it REACH Week at the high school. And that's when students come in and they do a panel interview with a staff member who volunteers. So we have many wonderful staff who volunteer time during the day to interview students about their experience. So they come in for panels, and then on the final day of the week, May 29th, we have our annual Reach exhibition fair in the field house. So every senior has a desk and a spot and a place, and they present a visual of their learning. So that's an amazing thing.
Thank you. So that's every senior can do the Reach, but then these students also have the opportunity to do some additional internship time, and that's also 4 weeks. So cumulatively, it's 8 weeks if they do both, right? Did I misunderstand that?
Yes. So every senior has 4 weeks. So it's a 4-week internship.
Yep.
Our After Dark students, is that who you mean? Or the Pathways students?
I think it was under the Pathways program that you said there was an additional internship time period.
So the Pathways
I
students.
guess it wasn't everybody, sorry.
No, that's okay. The BHS Pathways students, they do the mentorship.
Yes.
During 10th or 11th grade. So they have 3 hours to 3 separate visits, 1 hour each with a mentor. In 10th or 11th grade. So it's kind of like a mini internship in the middle of high school before they get to the Reach, like the senior internship time.
Okay, got it. Okay, I think your FAQ slides helped answer some of my questions, and then you guys also asked some of my questions. So I think that's it for me. Thank you. That was really great.
Thank you. And one thing to say about our After Dark students, they have the opportunity to start their co-ops. So their immersion experience in the career senior year, all of senior year, correct? Yeah. So you have that, they have that opportunity to really be on an internship in the afternoon instead of being in class, like in shop over there at that school, out in the immersion experience for the whole year. And then we utilize the co-op also for Reach when the 4 weeks come up.
I think it's amazing to listen to all of you students and how and why you came to these different programs, and it's just really interesting how you were impacted by them as well. Those of you that have been in the programs, thinking about the hospitality industry, thinking about you were kind of interested in culinary, but now you kind of also see the other sides of hospitality and how that affects maybe future planning for yourself. So it's a really wonderful experience, and I want to thank you, Julie. Ms. Ferrara and Mr. Thomas put a lot of effort to go, the amount of effort that goes into creating these and continuing these programs for our students. I mean, they are second to none. We offer so many opportunities for students in different avenues, as you've seen, whether it's dual enrollment or the early college program, and as well as she has a whole team of counselors that she's running in the building to, certainly address the needs of the students across the entire building. So I thank you for all of your hard work because these programs are amazing. I'm so excited for all of you kind of moving forward because you've had wonderful experiences, or those of you that are about to enter a wonderful early college experience. So I want to thank you all for coming tonight, and I wish you all luck. Those of you that are seniors, and wish you luck in your future endeavors, and everyone else, I can't wait to hear in the future next year how things are going. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, everybody. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's going to be a lot to summarize on our next meeting. I was trying to take a lot of notes. It was a lot. It was great. It was really great. So I think the next thing on our agenda, we have a couple policies to review. There were some hyperlinks in the agenda. Hopefully everybody had a chance to review those. This is an opportunity to discuss any questions or suggestions before it goes on to the committee of the whole for a first and then a second review. And it's at that second review that we adopt any changes. So this is an opportunity, again, to discuss any suggestions or thoughts that we have. So I'll start first with, thank you for putting them up on the screen, policy IHBH. This is the Alternative School Programs Policy. It is an MASC form that we've adopted here. I don't see any yellow highlighted areas indicating any changes that we should pay any special attention to, but if anybody has any questions or thoughts, I would welcome any feedback. Well, we're moving right along tonight. Yeah, please, go ahead, Ms. McQuarrie.
This might be a silly question, but I guess what would be an example? What are some examples of some
I knew that was going to come up.
What are they?
So I'd like to kind of reference this too. This was much more popular. Alternative programming was much more popular in like the late 90s, early 2000s in terms of dropout prevention programs that were happening across the state. There are still alternative programs, but there were a lot that were developed around teen pregnancy and parenting, truancy, alternative general ed pathways for students. Certainly always special education students are general education students, so they have the opportunity within these pathways. They're not as popular as they were in the past in terms of the state. We have a program at the high school that we wouldn't call a designated alternative pathway program. There are schools that are like this, and then there are programs. And so we have a STAY program, which is an after-school program for students. And again, it's looking at really dropout prevention and looking at that. And that's kind of how those programs, a lot of them began years ago. But certainly there are still programs that are running across the state, and different communities have different level of need for that. And we found that our STAY program, it's in the afternoons at the school. It's based off of EduSeer, and we have content level teachers who are available to work with students in that program. So it's similar to that.
Can I ask a follow-up question? The name of the program is escaping me, but I thought this program might be an example of what we're talking about here. If a student's out for a period of time and they need to sort of re-enter, I think that there's a program that helps them re-enter that. And I want to say Be Healthy Beverly helps support that, or something Be Healthy Beverly adjacent. Am I not?
Yeah, the PASS.
Thank you.
Yeah.
PATH. Thank you. Would that fall? PASS. Thank you. Would that fall into this category?
Somewhat.
It's okay if it's not a straightforward answer.
Yeah, it's somewhat.
That's what came to mind when I saw
It's a program
this.
it would be like related. So kind of like our STAY program is, but not 100%.
Okay. That's helpful. Any other questions on this one? I don't think I actually need a vote necessarily to push this one along because we're not really making any changes here. And there's not an asterisk next to it indicating that it has an action associated with it. So unless anybody has any other thoughts on this one, I'm going to move along to the Alternative Schools Program. That policy number, I'm going to slip back to my agenda, is IHCA. Did I say alternative? I'm sorry, I meant, let me say that again. We're moving on to policy number IHCA, the summer school policy for review and discussion. Yes.
The policy lists Briscoe Middle School.
I didn't notice that.
Yes. Again, we run a summer school at the high school in the summers. And as part of the policy, the person who directs that will be coming to the school committee in May, because that's part of the policy for them to come. And that's just a little information.
Sorry, can you repeat that, Ms. Brown? I'm sorry about that.
So the person who runs the program, as part of this policy, they're required to come to a meeting, a full school committee meeting in May. And so they'll present a little information on that at probably the end of May.
Okay, thank you. I've noted the Briscoe Middle School. Thank you for that, Ms. Sudak. Any other questions or thoughts on this program before we move it along to, this is actually a Beverly Public Schools program, not, well, format, I should say, not an MASC format. Okay, I just noticed that. Okay, again, unless there's any thoughts or concerns, there's no action on this. We're just moving this along to the committee of the whole for a first read, and then upon the second read, the committee will approve to adopt that and any agreed upon revisions. And I'll be sure that when I bring this forward to the committee of the whole, then I note the Briscoe Middle School.
Just going back for a minute, we do have the star next to the policies. We could vote on them.
We can. Oh, that's right. I didn't see the star. I think the first few meetings of the year I did do that, but we're not really adopting any changes. But you know what? Just in case I'm wrong, let's go ahead and take a vote on it if that's okay with everybody. I like to err on the side of caution. Yes. So we don't have anybody participating remotely, so I don't need to do a roll call. So I will just say, let's do these one at a time. Let's start with IHBH alternative school programs. All in favor of moving that along to the committee of the whole? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to 0. That passes. Thanks for bearing with me. Next one that we're gonna, I probably should have taken a first and a second on that. So we're gonna try to do it the right way on the second one. Policy number IHCA, the summer school program. Can I get a motion to move that one along to the committee of the whole? I just need a first.
Sorry, we're battling. Yes.
That's all right. I appreciate a good battle.
I'll
Okay,
make
Miss
the
Lennox,
motion.
I'll take you as a first. Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Miss Frost. Okay, I'm gonna try it again the right way. All in favor of moving IHCA, the summer school program, along to committee of the whole with notation about the Briscoe Middle School still being in there included. All in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, I didn't catch the vote last time. 7 to 0. All right, that passes. We moved along with great efficiency today. I'm very proud of us. The chair would take a motion to adjourn unless there's anything else.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Ms. Frost. That'll be our first.
And I will second that.
Oh, look, we're switching it up. Ms. Lennox, okay. All in favor? 7 to 0. We adjourn tonight, Wednesday, April 29th at 7:14. Thank you, everybody.
All right, hello everybody. Today is Wednesday, April 29th. It is 7:36 and I'm calling the meeting to order. This is the Beverly School Committee, meeting of the whole. And I do not believe we have anyone attending and voting remotely, so I'm not going to read the whole remote scheme. Our meeting always starts with the Pledge of Allegiance. Ms. Robinson, will you please lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, members, I am going to ask you to take something right off the bat. I'm going to ask for a motion to take something out of order. As you can see in the front row here, we have 4 young men from our schools who are here to give a little presentation. Dr. Cushing, are you ready with their singular slide? No, they have a slide.
Give me 1 second.
All right, we'll do one piece of business before we go to try to ask something out of order. Looking for a motion for approval of the meeting minutes.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Coelho. Thank you, Ms. Cahill. Any chance you want to do that for me? Here's a pen. All those any corrections, comments, problems with the meeting minutes? All those in favor? Any opposed? That passes 9-0. You still looking?
Nope, we got it.
You got it? I'm looking.
I move we
Okay,
take that item out of
fantastic.
order.
I'm looking for a motion to take.
Just made it.
You just made it?
Second.
Okay, we're all fighting over that. Mayor Cahill, thank you. Ms. Frost, was that you with the second?
Sure.
Okay, sure. All right, so we're going to take underneath the superintendent's report, item number D, item letter D, Panther Pride Moment. This is something that the superintendent hopes to do at all of our future meetings, have a moment to celebrate something good in our school district. And this evening we have a presentation from some Centerville students. Gentlemen, it's your turn. Come on.
Hi, my name is Lucas Minch and I go to Centerville Elementary School. I think we have the best school in the best town. We get to do so much fun things during the year. One of the best things we do besides recess, because let's be honest, recess is still the champion, is the Beaver Challenge. Hi, my name is William Holbrook, and we are all in 3rd grade. The Beaver Challenge is something our whole school can participate in. We can choose to do either a science project or a service project. You can even team up with other students, which is awesome, because 2 or 3 brains is definitely better than 1. Hi, my name is Anthony Boudreau. Our team decided to do a service project to support something we all love, sports. Sports teaches us how to be good teammates, how to listen and follow directions, and how to have fun, even if it's not always win. Hi, my name is Henry Shirley, and this organization we are supporting this year is called Inclusion Sports. Inclusion Sports was started by Greg and Kristen Perkins. They wanted to find a sports program for their son where it was all about winning, but more about learning, being independent, and feeling like you belong. Hi again, it's Lucas. We recently got to participate in the program. We met so many great kids. Maverick and Donovan played for an hour with us. We met kids from Beverly and wanted to know why we don't have this in our city. We don't have it because people don't know about it. Hi again. Is it working? Hi again, I'm William. Let me tell you about this program. It helps kids learn skill in a way that works best for them. The coaches use lots of encouragement to make sure everyone can participate in their own way. It's all about trying your best and having fun, not just being the fastest or strongest. Hi again, I'm Anthony. Our team is doing an equipment drive to help Greg and Kristen. He wanted to collect enough sports equipment so they can run programs in at least 12 communities. This summer switch is a lot of kids getting to play. Hi again, I'm Henry. We also want more people to know about this amazing program. There's some really exciting news. There's going to have a program at McEwen School this starting this spring. That means more kids in our city will get the same chances to play sports and feel included just like us. We hope even more schools in our city can have this program someday, so every single student gets the same chance to play and have fun and belong. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to cheer us on.
All right, membership. Does anybody have any questions for our young presenters this evening? Yes, Mr. Taylor.
I would like to know which sport you enjoy the most. Anthony, could you tell us?
Push the button, dude. Gotta push the button.
Basketball. Baseball. I enjoyed most playing football. I enjoy most playing hockey.
Okay. And how about my question for you is, what sports are you going to play with this new organization? All? One or two? Is there a particular kind of equipment you're looking to collect, Mr. Boudreau?
So we're not going to do hockey.
We're not doing hockey.
Yeah.
But other than that, all sports?
Yeah.
So all equipment?
Yes.
Except for hockey?
Yes.
All right, anybody else before I call for a literally 3? Yes, Dr. Cushing.
What if it were deck hockey? You don't need the ice. You can ponder it. You don't have to answer right now.
All right, I'm going to call for a 3-minute recess. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right.
I love them.
Kim, you all set in there? All right, we are reconvened. All right, we're picking up where we were supposed to be on our agenda. So we're underneath the chair report. The first item on the chair report is about open meeting law. First part of this item is it tomorrow night or is it next Thursday night? It's tomorrow night. Okay, thank you. We are at the end of April. Tomorrow night, our city solicitor is offering open meeting law training. We are all strongly urged to attend. It will not be recorded. You can attend, I believe, via Zoom. Well, they do use Google Meet. Very strongly encouraging everybody to attend in person. And we've had a couple slip-ups, and I think that as especially I've emailed all of you and said, we're getting a lot of group emails, and we're going to try to not all respond to those group emails because that can get us in trouble. And so with that said, Ms. Ducharme, would you like the floor?
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. So I did exactly what you're not supposed to do, and I replied all. And at the beginning of it, I said, you raised some good points. Whether I agree with the points in the email, it was specific to the athletic fees or not, I thought I was acknowledging, hey, you have some points. You can't do that because it's an expressing opinion and it could lead to serial communication. And so the rectifying action is to say to the committee that that happened and give opportunity to have discussion about it. There's no filing that needs to happen or anything, just a simple acknowledgement that that happened. I know you're not supposed to reply all, and I did. My intent was just to say, I received your email, thanks for your email. But I said, not only did I reply all, but I said, you have a good point. So lesson learned, apologies for taking a couple minutes today. If we have any questions or comments, we can talk about it.
All right, I appreciate that, Ms. Ducharme, thank you. We are going to actually talk about those fees again later on the agenda. So I'm going to move right along. The next item under my report is about the budget process and specifically about operations versus governance. And so this is maybe our meeting where we confess our sins or some such thing. So in the past, I have sat at this table, not as the chair, and I've said I want to make an amendment to the budget to do X, Y, Z. And it is not lost on me that at least one year, the mayor and the former chair said, I want to make an amendment for this amount of money. And they didn't put any stipulations on the money. And I think that earlier this session, I said to all of you, you're going to get a chance when it comes time to vote on the budget, you're going to get a chance to make amendments to the budget. So there is a thin line there, and I wish to use myself as the example. In the past, I made a motion, for instance, for $50,000 for library overseeing. And that motion passed, and $50,000 was added to the budget. But there is no guarantee that the $50,000 would be spent on library, whatever I had in my curly head at that point in time, because that crosses over into governance. So we can add money to the budget. We can change certain things, like whether we're charging fees or not charging fees, but we cannot say how the money will be spent. And so I wanted to clarify that. I wanted to throw myself under the bus as having done something previously that is not really kosher. So as we move through the budget process, I just want everybody to have that in their mind. If you think that you want to add money for a particular purpose, you're certainly welcome to say what you hope that purpose would be. But please understand that the people who govern our day-to-day district are sitting on that side of the room. And everybody on this side of the room, we just get to vote on how much money, not how it's actually very specifically spent. Okay, next item. Actually, we need a couple of votes. We have two policies for a second reading. The first policy is G as in George, B as in Bob, K as in Kathy, staff concerns, complaints, and grievances. I'm looking for a motion to approve that policy. It was in your packet.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Coelho. A second.
Second.
Okay, thanks. Comments, questions, amendments? Seeing none. All those in favor of approval of GBK as it is in your packet? Any opposed? Down at that end of the table. You want me to go a little slower? Okay, that passes 9-0. I'm sorry, we have a ton. I have had a lot of caffeine today, and I brought 2 more bottles, and we have a lot to get through this evening. So I am trying to go fast. I'll try to slow myself down a little. The next policy up for debate is G, as in George, C as in Kathy. Oh, that's bad. I used the same word for 2 different letters. I as in ice cream, and A as in apples. Philosophy of staff development. I'm looking for a motion to approve. Thank you, Ms. Cahill. Remember, please, when you want to talk, to put on your microphone.
Second.
All right, who said that second down there? Thank you, Ms. Robinson. Any comments, questions, amendments for this particular policy? Seeing none, all those in favor? Any opposed? That passes 9-0. Next item on my agenda is our norms and protocols, and I'm like, if we were doing an over-under, which, you know, we have a policy that you can only do games of chance if you're over 18, I pass that. I passed that criteria. Norms and protocols is getting tabled yet again because the version that's in your packet does not include the new text that is required for the carve-out for our mayor. We've kind of talked about that before. He always wears 2 hats, and he can never take off his mayor hat. And so when he wears his mayor hat, he can occasionally take off his school committee hat. So there's some extra language we need in our norms and protocols to handle that, and it's not in the version that came forward today. So we'll hope to see that on our next meeting. The last item on, the last item under policy is, in general, is about AI. And in particular, my policy peeps, you're getting ready to get put on the spot. You have a meeting next Wednesday, right? I have no idea what was on your agenda, but you have a new top item on your agenda. Our district absolutely needs an AI policy. There are plenty out there. And very specifically, I'm looking to see, maybe it's 1, maybe it's 2, I need a policy on AI deep fakes and pornography. It is happening a lot. Districts that have had it happen and are not prepared for it with a policy in place and some education having happened are finding themselves in deep trouble, pun intended. So yes, Dr. Cushing, I saw you on mute.
Thank you. So we met yesterday as a leadership team and are planning to have conversations. So it's in the initial stages, but before the end of the year, to work with our students, at least at our middle and high schools, but elementary principals are also going to be part of the conversation because this is part of our digital literacy that needs to really be infused. Unfortunately, artificial intelligence, ChatGPT, and other products that are out there aren't waiting for us to generate policies. They're waiting actually for nothing now to generate revenue. So these are the types of things that we have to be quicker just in education across the board. Similarly to cell phones, smartphones, those types of things. The change happened and then it was reactionary. So we're going to try to be more proactive on this to really address these concerns.
All right, so I'm going to say 2 things. Our high school has something written about AI already. It's mostly plagiarism centered. So please, if you need a copy of that, I have it. There was a second thing.
I have a policy that I've worked on previously, but I can also share out with the committee that members of the subcommittee, I apologize, that as well as the high school's language.
That would be great. The other thing I was going to say is if you are not yet familiar, please be familiar with what our state says about restorative practices. So for instance, please do not bring me a policy that says that if we find you're making a deep fake, we're going to suspend you because we can't do that. That would be against state law. Okay, so, and I think that there's somebody in our group over there. If you need more help on what is restorative justice, we can put you in touch with our restorative justice director in the district. Okay. Yes, Mr. Mayor.
is it fair to say that we may need some fairly quick action to protect ourselves, to protect our students, our faculty, and that at the same time, there's probably going to need to be a very detailed, comprehensive set of policies around AI. So this isn't just a one-off quick hit. This is,
Right,
this is
but I
really
need-
the beginning of a journey to try to get our arms around AI and how we work with it.
Right, and I would say, based on what's happening right now and what's in the news right now, I have a very specific ask around the deep fakes.
Right,
And then,
right.
yes, absolutely, I don't expect that the committee can do, the whole comprehensive job in one meeting. So we have a very specific short-term goal. Yes, Ms. Ducharme?
Can I ask that we consider running it by legal counsel as well?
No, just kidding.
Okay.
Yes, but we have to have something.
No,
We have to
I
have
agree.
some place
and
to start,
I
right?
imagine that MASC might have, instead of us creating something from scratch, you've
Right,
referenced that you
we
have
should not
something
have
maybe-
to create from scratch. There are, like I said, there are policies out there already. I did not actually go to the MASC site and see if they had one, but I do know of several that are already in place. I also know all you have to do is Google this topic in the news, and you'll find a list of communities that are, scrambling and being reactive instead of being proactive. All right. The next item on my part of the agenda is that I asked you guys to hold every Wednesday in May, and I'm sorry about that, but here, I'm giving you your first Wednesday back. We will not be meeting on the 6th of May. We do not have a tentative appointment. However, on the 13th of May, we do have our public hearing on the budget. And then after the public hearing, we have a regular meeting. On the 20th, I've asked you to hold that date because I would like us to think about voting on the budget on the 20th. Technically, we could vote on it on the 13th. We have no idea how many people are going to come to the podium. And technically, we could vote on it on the 27th, but that cuts us way too close for somebody's liking at this table, which is why I asked you all to hold the 20th. So I do expect that we will vote on the 20th. All right, I don't have a crystal ball, but it's possible we could vote on the 13th, but I really think the 20th, so I'm asking to hold that date. And then on the 27th, at the end of the month, we already have standing on the calendar F&F and then Committee of the Whole again. Okay, that is all. Yes, Mr. Taylor.
Question. You said that we no longer have a potential tentative appointment to discuss. Do you anticipate that sometime in May we would have a tentative appointment to discuss, or do you not know? Or would you like not to say?
I'm gonna do Karnak. I don't know. We're going back to the drawing board. So that position is posted as of today. We thought we had a candidate. We were quite happy, and it didn't work out. So back to the drawing board we go. And by the drawing board, I mean the interview process. So next up, Dr. Cushing, it is your turn.
Thank you, President Visnick. Thank you, members of the school committee. Before I begin tonight, I've already begun, so it's not before I begin. So what I would really like to say is I took a moment today while heading downtown to pick up some wonderful pizza from Otto to stop into the McPherson Center. I just want to say it was nice to see some of our students who were doing an alternative education placement for the day, an alternative to suspension. But it was also really nice to see the supports that were there for them to support them throughout the day. It's not just go and sit. So the other thing, though, is that the McPherson Center is now open. There's a big kickoff event on Saturday that I'll be publicizing. This week, I guess, could be qualified as something of a soft open, but they did have 40 students today. I just spoke to Lorigan Sudak of the YMCA. And so that's one of the highest numbers they've ever had. They expect those numbers to grow during the summer, but the facility is beautiful. The city and the building the building committee and all involved, I wish I could name them, but I don't know who they are, but it's a really phenomenal place and really offers a nice, I never saw the previous, but offers a nice, really open air feel, lots of glass, lots of windows, half basketball court, 2 kind of side rooms for students to do work or to play games or do crafts or things along those lines. And I think it really showcases some of the best things that Beverly can do. So if you have a moment or can join the event this weekend, I think that'd be wonderful. All right, so slightly out of order, but school choice. I know we discussed this previously, and I have some data. I know there was questions on kindergarten paras, and so at AIRS, we are 1 para to each classroom. All right, so each kindergarten classroom has 1 paraprofessional. At Centerville, same, 1 paraprofessional to each kindergarten classroom. At Cove, there are 3 kindergarten classrooms. 2 spend a significant portion of their day, 2 paraprofessionals spend a significant portion of their day in kindergarten classrooms. The other portion might be supporting students on IEPs, and another para spends the entire day outside of the classroom supporting students with special education needs. At Hannah, presently, and I'm going to address that, there are 3 paras fully dedicated to 3 of the 4, and the 4th is there 75% of the time, and 25% pulled out for reading support. If I remember right, I did not write that down directly. Next year, with the planned shifts that we've already discussed, that para will be able to spend 100% of the time back in the kindergarten classroom. And at North Beverly, it is 1-to-1 paraprofessional to kindergarten classrooms. All paras across the district can be utilized to support students on IEPs, but as best as possible, we seek to keep that. So the ratio, and I think it was Ms. Lennox, Member Lennox, I apologize, Member Lennox, who had asked the question. We are largely 1-to-1, which means that these classrooms that we try to really cap at that 20 is generally 2 adults for every 10 kids, generally speaking. All right. And so have
2 for 20, 1 for 10.
Yes, 2 for 20, 1 for 10. And so with those at Cove and Hannah that will be rectified, that's the current ratios. So again, this was all covered last time. I've cut a few slides out, but I am seeking so school choice program allows families to enroll. I do believe I misspoke last time in saying that siblings were not given preference. A review of the law, siblings are given preference. That was my apology for misspeaking. And the fee structure is $5,000 with incremental costs added to tuition for any special education student, reflecting the additional cost of the services receiving. I took the chart that you have here and reformatted it, so hopefully you're not blinded trying to squint to see it up there, but you should have it at your seat as well, with the yellow across the top. So it does look different than what is on the screen, all right? But slots available, current 2025-26 students. Some students may have been retained. I want to clarify that question as well. So some students who were school choice may have been retained, however it was. So that accounts for an increase potentially. Current projected students. I also think one of these may have been twins coming in, so that's what bumped it up. I forget specifically where that is, but and then seats available. Right now, there are 10 seats available for kindergarten because we've received applications, but as we have not been approved yet to accept, we have not. Obviously, right now, as things stand, we are closed in grade 1 across the district. We are closed in grade 2, and you can see the limited availability that we have. We are a desirable district across all grade spans. All right, so, and then requests, you can see the requests that we have thus far as of 4/6/2026, which was 3 weeks ago. I know that those numbers, I actually believe those numbers were updated as of today because I was waiting for printing this to update those. We just did not update the 4/6, so I apologize for that. So those are updated as of today. I also worked with our team to make sure that the full numbers are in there. There was some question last time on the previous sheet as it only represented 4,300 and some odd students. But here you see the breakdown of all students across our district. 86 outplaced, 29 receiving services only, some 7 that we are programmatically responsible for in some manner, shape, or form that could be related to foster care or other situations along those lines. And then the total number of students across the district in pre-K through grade 12 seats is 4,517. Also received clarification on Chapter 70 funding. The mayor had asked that question. One of the state's, one of DESE's financial people got back to me, and the $5,000 comes to us, but the Chapter 70 funding remains with the sending district, if from that email I sent forwarded on. So we do receive benefit, all right? These are seats that are essentially open, all right? And we have limited deployment across the district. There are some districts that don't set caps, all right? It's basically try to get as many kids in the seats as possible, almost like filling a theater. I think these numbers are very reasonable, given some of the areas that we have as open. So I'm not asking for any increases, but I do recommend a vote to approve school choice. And hopefully I've answered everyone's questions. I apologize if I missed any.
Before we can take any questions, before I look for questions, hands for questions, I'm looking for a motion so we can open the floor for discussion.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Mayor Cahill. Thank you, Mr. Sharm. I'm looking for hands for questions. Yes, Ms. Robinson.
Okay, so are we thinking that there would be about $50,000 brought in from school
That
choice?
would be kindergarten alone.
Kindergarten alone?
Yeah.
All right, so I've been struggling, I brought this up at the last meeting, I've been just struggling to accept the idea if bringing in additional students is worth the additional responsibilities that would be placed on not only teachers, but also students as well. One or two kids can set the tone for a classroom, whether those are kids who are brought in or they're kids who are already in the classroom. One or two kids can change the tone of a classroom. I brought this up last time that the needs of our students have changed a lot in the past 10 years. And I don't know, consequences are different for behaviors. Needs are just, they're more. The needs are just more than they were. And just thinking about the elementary level, learning struggles don't show up. Yes, there's a para in the kindergarten classes, but needs often don't show up. And students don't get onto an IEP until second or third grade. And those are the classes that I feel like they need fewer kids in the classroom. It's really hard for me to reconcile the idea that, this money is going to offset what it's going to do to a classroom, because I think we're understating the idea that it's not that much. It is that much, and I understand that we need that the budget is tight. I respect that. I understand that, but it's also really unclear if bringing in that money is going to like save a position or bring on another position. I don't know that that would actually happen. So I don't know. I guess in the spirit of the importance of student achievement and having effective teachers, I can't really support bringing in any more students to our already crowded classrooms. I think it's great that we have, so many students who want to be here, but I think we've taken on too much, and I don't think that's not where we need to make our money.
If I could just offer one thing, I think we're speaking, and I appreciate you bringing up potential challenges. As the assistant principal of Narragansett Regional High School, 1 year our valedictorian was a school choice student who'd come in from our surrounding district. And I've also seen school choice students be amazing peers, models, and it is, in my experience, more positive than challenging.
All right, thanks for, let's see, Ms. Ducharme, I did see your hand, but first I believe I saw Mr. Taylor and then Ms. Cahill, and then we'll just go right around that end of the table, all right?
Thank you. On April 14th, I attended the Hannah PTO meeting. They spent 15 minutes talking about school choice. And so everybody who represents Hannah at this table has got to explain if they vote against school choice. I want to read you what they said to me in summation and what they want all of you to hear. Please vote for school choice. I work in Beverly. I only work in Beverly because I school choice my children in. I have one other child who is currently in 3rd grade and another who would be eligible to school choice in this year. But you haven't voted on it. You didn't do your job last year. You waited until June 1st to approve school choice. What is wrong with you people? Get it together, is what they said. I'm just reading their quote.
So I actually have been derelict in my duties. We have almost the entire administrative staff of the entire district behind Dr. Cushing, and thank you all for being here. I'm not even going to try to say all your names. This item is on tonight's agenda, as are some other items, because people ask for items to be on the agenda, and so I know it's a packed agenda, and I guess I'll say we did that to ourselves, and one of the reasons why school choice is on tonight instead of being on another 3 or 4 meetings from now is because there are families who are trying to decide, and there is this sense of urgency. So I appreciate what the Hannah folks said. Ms. Cahill.
Yeah, I have to sort of like go along the same vein as Ms. Robinson did. My concern is more in the middle school level, and we all know that at that particular point in child's development, it's really difficult. A lot of behaviors emerge. There's the identity crises. There's so much that's going on at that point. And having been a bus driver and seeing a lot of these kids, and not the school choice kids, I realize they were on the bus, but seeing how all of that stuff impacts them, I think that we're bringing in kids into the system that may have needs that are really difficult to be able to service, and we're putting all that energy into that and what's happening to the kids that are from Beverly. I understand that my grandchildren were all choiced into Beverly. I love the theory of school choice, but as far as like what our kids look like now post-COVID, I don't know where you want to put it, where the responsibility lies, but I really think that the dynamic in the classrooms is such that it's time to think about, is the revenue worth what our kids are sacrificing for it?
Yes, Ms. Ducharme.
Dr. Cushing, I want to make sure I understand the numbers across the bottom. So 25 to 26, the school choice students were 146 across the district?
Yes.
Okay, at $5,000 a student, how much is that? That's like, unless my math is wrong, 730,000? Am I way off?
If you're just calculating the 5,000, that doesn't take into consideration any school, any special education increments.
Okay, that's fair.
But I believe the number is more 850 or so thousand.
Okay, then in
But I also have an expert
2026, not counting any special education additional money that we might get, and I'm not trying to drill this down to money, but it is budget season, and there's a lot of moving components here. 26 to 27, that's 665,000, not including some of the additional money you just talked about. 47 students for seats available, 26 to 27, that's 235,000. The request for next year at 72 is 360,000. That's a lot of money, and the expense to run the building and put teachers at the front of the building, that doesn't go away if we don't accept school choice. I acknowledge what Ms. Cahill and Ms. Robinson are adding to the conversation, and I don't at all disagree, actually. I'm just not sure that not approving school choice is going to solve that problem. But I do think that we would be compounding the problem by not considering the revenue versus the expense part of this equation. It's not because I'm trying to drill this down to just money, because Dr. Cushing just outlined a lot of other really great reasons why we should consider school choice. We don't know what we're getting in the building. We don't know if we're getting students that might have challenges or if we're getting the next valedictorian. That's hard for any of us to predict. But I do have a hard time in this climate balancing that amount of money. I'm not sure that that's not going to make our problems harder. I don't know that it's going to solve our problem.
Yes, Ms. Cahill.
How many kids do we have choicing out of Beverly at this point in time? Do we have any number on that?
I don't have that immediately in front of me.
Okay.
But what I will say is, there have been years in the past where it's outpaced the students coming in. That is not the case presently. And building a stronger Beverly Public Schools will hopefully drive down those numbers of kids looking to go elsewhere and bring those kids home. All right. Or have families stay. So, I mean, there's that factor as well, that for whatever reason, maybe it's because a parent works. I mean, I know there's one school choice student who goes to school in Beverly. It might just be Burlington. It might be that that's convenience because of commute along 128. There might be a lot of factors that play into it. However, as we make our programs, the flagship of the North Shore and then the Commonwealth, people will want to remain here as opposed to going out.
I am going to call on Ms. Lennox.
I just had a question with how it takes place. Like, do we vote individually for each grade, or do we?
Right now, the motion is to accept it as is presented. You can certainly make a motion to amend, to vote on I don't know that it makes, you can make a motion to amend how we vote. And I will say that in the past, there was a year that we voted on kindergarten entirely by itself, and we closed kindergarten one year in the past.
Well, that was kind of my thought with kindergarten, with the 10 seats available. When I'm looking at the projected enrollments for next year, and I'm seeing 24 for Cove, 21.7.
So I will say that Cove number is a mistake, because right now only 44 students are actually registered for kindergarten.
Wow.
So at Cove. So that number is a mistake.
Okay.
And there are paras in each room. So, all right, so that's all. I'm trying not to.
Yeah, I'm just saying, and I would wonder if I could make an amendment to say, like, for example, 5 seats for kindergarten instead of 10, because I still feel like those numbers are too big for kindergarten. So I don't know if this is the time to do that, or.
You may make that motion right now. If you'd like to make that amendment, you may make that motion.
I will make that motion then, to change 5 seats for kindergarten.
Is there anyone who wishes to second that motion? Seeing none, you still have the microphone before I call Ms. Ducharme.
My other motion then would be to vote on each grade individually.
Looking for a second for that motion, voting on each grade individually. I'm seeing none. Ms. Ducharme, is your hand still up?
Yes, thank you. I want to circle back to the point that Ms. Cahill made and Ms. Robinson made, which I don't disagree with. Those are some real challenges. I just want to perhaps propose to the committee that there might be another way to solve that. there are opportunities for us to talk about budget priorities in a more formal way. And maybe we work together to find ways to solve those issues. I acknowledge that we've heard a lot that students now are very different than they were pre-COVID, and we don't see that changing. So maybe instead of rejecting this proposal, whether it be in its entirety or in pieces, maybe we move past this and then find a way to work together to solve some of the other acknowledged issues that we have relative to maybe, social emotional learning, school adjustment counselors. Maybe work together to find a solution to solve the problem that we feel real about, but still potentially solve this budgetary issue as well. Maybe we can do both at the same time.
The both and mentality. Okay, last call. There is yes, Ms. Robinson.
I just wanted to go on the record saying that I'm not against school choice. I'm just against school choice at this moment in time. And I just think that bringing in students while we're cutting student-facing positions is a big, huge mistake.
Yes, Mr. Mayor Cahill.
Thanks, Madam President. Could I ask the superintendent and team, how you're projecting kindergarten enrollment at 340? How does that compare generally? Yeah, because is the projection including 10 coming from choice, or would that put it at 350? And, where generally have we been seeing our kindergarten numbers year over year?
So we're looking at that 340 is inclusive of the 10 school choice students. It's really difficult to tell. Kindergarten enrollment last year, actually, we had a lot of late summer enrollments in August that really spiked in some areas. But it's really hard to trend the kindergarten, just because some parents may choose to keep their child in a private kindergarten and then come in first grade, which seems to be somewhat a Beverly situation. Like, at least hearing from my team that in past years, private kindergarten is sometimes, for whatever reason, appealing.
Yeah, well, I think we have had that dynamic that the grade one, bumps up. I guess I'm just looking for somebody to share with us the data from the last handful of years. We generally get this many in kindergarten. We generally get this many in first grade. That
Well, can't we just look at the class sizes, though, of what we have moving on through the district? Like, everybody's just moving up. So 2 years ago, it was approximately 380. Is that
I'd have to go
reasonable?
back and look at the cohort data to say the class of, say, 2026 has, fluctuated and, build that model for the committee. But to go to an earlier question, I was able to look up and receive the data on last year. There were 72 students choicing out of Beverly. This year there are 90. All right, so if you vote not to accept school choice, realize that simply means that the offset or the revenue is not coming in. The students still have the option to choice elsewhere.
They always have, to be clear, you're saying they always have the right to choose to choice out.
Correct.
We could continue to lose students, but we will forego any coming in and therefore forego any of the revenues of, the ones we already have, we have to keep. So we
Correct.
would forego any of the fluctuated income
Which goes to
from
the-
the 47 students.
The compounding problem.
All right, any other questions?
Last year's number was around 370.
Did you hear that answer, Mr. Mayor? From the back row?
Sure. I'd like to keep talking if I could.
Sure.
So last year's kindergarten was 370? Is it? Around there. Okay. Well, if that's the case and our projection for inclusive of 10 choice seats is 340, I don't know why we're having such a long conversation. This is entirely doable, and we have a lot of things to do. This has been hanging out there. Let's take a vote.
Is that motion to move the question?
Moving the question cuts everyone's ability to continue to talk off. I'm not ready to say that. I don't want to be, I don't want to be that aggressive or forward, but I'm asking whether we can move forward with a vote.
Yes, Ms. Cahill.
Of the 370, how many of those were enrolled prior to, right before school started? So if we're looking at now at 340, and we knew there was a big influx of enrollment after our last year's numbers, we could be saying that it's 340 now, and it could entirely be 340, or it could be 395. We really, it's kind of out there that another 20, it's not such a far stretch to think we could have quite a few students that would still enroll in kindergarten past the point of making this decision.
From the back row, hold on, Miss Brown's going to speak.
Kindergarten, about 13.
13.
We're kind of last minute.
13 last-minute enrollees. Yes, Mr. Mayor.
I appreciate Ms. Cahill's question, and I guess that a follow-on to that then is the projected 340, is that trying to build in the late enrollments? Or does it suggest that we already have 330 enrolled and we're looking for 10 choice? I see you nodding, please.
Yes, so just to put it officially verbally into the record and not just to nod, we currently have about 280 students actively registered, with the anticipation that more will continue to trickle in. And as people move, as people make decisions, as people get around to registering, which also I will use this as a shameless plug to say if you're listening and you have not yet registered for kindergarten, please do so. But so that number, again, is inclusive of our projections for our expected start of school and not reflective of our figure today.
Yes, Mr. Taylor.
Hopefully last question. So if we find, and maybe this will come to Dr. Cushing, if we find that a certain school has a needier population, we have the right, do we not, to move new school choice children to another school that has a less needy population. Is that correct?
As students enroll, we place them. Generally speaking, once a student's in a school.
I'm talking about school choice students. So before they actually entered.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
We will make the decision based on available seats, the school needs, all of those types of things. We're not gonna, well, okay, this classroom's at 19, let's add one as an example. I mean, we'd be looking at classes, those classes that have lower enrollments. We want to make sure that we're staying around that 20 number, as is one of the targets, to really focus on making sure that if a homeschool student, meaning your homeschool is one of the 5, that they have that availability before we're having to transport them elsewhere.
All right, any other questions? There is a motion on the table to accept the school choice as is on the sheet of paper, which is 10 slots, grades kindergarten through 6, 15 slots for grades 7 and 8, 20 slots for grades 9 through 12. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All those opposed? 3. That passes 6-3. I guess that means somebody in your office gets to start calling people and drawing numbers, right?
Mm-hmm. I'll review the district's policy for the lottery prior to doing it. Share. Okay. This hopefully is a quick one. So 25 years ago, the Massachusetts teacher retirement system was a 9% contributory retirement system. So this is teachers and leaders across the Commonwealth. It's not just teachers, it's assistant principals, myself, assistant superintendents, and many other staff in the district. are considered part of the Massachusetts teachers' retirement system. I put a link in there for when I send this out to you so that you can clearly see the expansive way that educators are funded. So basically, I have some questions on the next page that are just, kind of playing out the scenario for you. So retirement contributions, the state, all right, is considered the employer, all right, not local districts and municipalities. I want to be clear about this. Unlike other states, local school districts, municipal and regional employers do not contribute toward their educators' retirement benefits. It is largely self-funded and then made up by the third point there, how those funds are invested, all right? I believe the Massachusetts teacher retirement system is funded north of 80% from the last time I looked, and they do an excellent job managing funds. You may have heard of other states. The two that come to mind are Illinois and Connecticut over the last several years that have struggled because of how they've funded it or how they've done things. I've also linked in there that the House has recently passed a bill. The Senate is going to vote soon. If the legislature does not pass, I want to be clear, there is no change. There is, moving on to the next slide. So it was initially called TARP, the Teachers Alternative Retirement Plan, and teachers had a 6-month opt-in period. As I've shared with many people, in Len Classical's third floor teacher's room, there was talk constantly of, have you done it? You got to do it. You're dumb not to do it. But from what I've heard from other people, there was limited outreach, only one mailing, email addresses weren't really collected by the retirement system at that point, so that was not easily discernible. And individual school districts, especially for teachers on maternity leave or other situations, may not have properly notified and captured people's retirement. This is a good opportunity, I think. This affects 11.44% of our educational staff in Beverly, which is 54 educators. What's being asked to pass a resolution, simple resolution, just we support opening another window of enrollment for Retirement Plus. Again, there is no cost to Beverly. There is no cost affecting us. And so this would be, if a teacher wants to buy into this, they literally would have to buy in. So they would have to make up the difference of 9% to 11%, which is 2%, plus all interest over the number of years. So I know that there are several people on the board tonight who are either educators or married to educators. And so I just want to be clear, and, I think that this is a good thing to support our teachers and educators, because this may affect assistant principals, or others across the district. I've been asked to read a statement by one member. Member Robinson will not be taking part in the discussion, deliberation, or vote on this matter. Although our vote here tonight does not have a reasonably foreseeable effect on the Senate's vote, Mrs. Robinson wants to make clear to the body that if it does pass, it will affect her financial interest. She is, however, happy to respond to any factual questions as someone who has been following and is knowledgeable about the history of this legislation.
All right. And I'll pile on here and say that the other people who I believe are directly affected have also called the ethics person of the day. Would you like to say something?
I am not affected because I bought in at 11%. However, a reasonable person, I'd like to not participate in the conversation or the vote because the word reasonable person might assume I don't have financial interest, but so that people feel more comfortable.
And I do appreciate that you filed your disclosure. Thank you.
Yeah, and I filed with the city, so.
Yes, Mr. Taylor.
I also spoke with the attorney of the day at the State Ethics Commission. I was advised that I can participate in the vote and the conversation, as under Section 4I, my wife is not currently an educator. It says is a teacher, and under Section 4 of Section 4. I guess that's subsection 4. My wife elected into the alternative retirement program that is being discussed.
Fantastic. All right, so, and again, I appreciate, I appreciate that we're trying as a whole to disclose and do the right things. And so the question really right now is whether we as a committee want to support, and again, there's no words in front of you, right? Somebody would have to take the action item to make the actual words, but to support, in theory, a resolution that says yes. In essence, it would go to Senator Lovely. Senator Lovely, the Beverly School Committee would like you to vote yes on this particular vote that you're going to take about Retirement Plus. So if someone is interested in making that motion.
I'll make it.
Thank you, Mayor Cahill.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Ducharme. Yes, Mr. Cahill.
I'm not sure if I missed it. I may have, and if so, I apologize. The status of the bill is that it's currently where?
I believe it's with the Ways and Means.
Okay, passed out of committee in Ways and Means.
Correct.
Okay, thanks.
There's actually a really great Facebook page. I believe it's called Fair Fix Retirement Plus, or Retirement Plus Fair Fix, that gives a lot of really good information that I then corroborated looking on the House and Senate's websites to view the bill and find out where it was.
All right, so I'm blessed to be in this chair, and in this chair, I can tell you that I have already had a letter. So there's, nobody needs to do any extra work, I don't think. I think we can bring that letter forward. So we're going to vote on it now, and then I understand it's difficult because you don't have the words in front of you. Yes, Mr. Mayor Cahill.
Could we see the words that the superintendent had up on the page a minute ago?
Yep.
What the motion actually is saying?
Yeah, I think that's a big problem, that we can't see the motion.
Well, say it again.
He thinks it's a big problem that he's not seeing the words.
I don't have a motion here
no.
because that's for the body.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
There was language that said, looking for resolution, just in.
Correct. Pass a resolution to support
the letter of support from the school committee
A
as a whole.
draft letter meets that description. I'm fine with not seeing the letter before it is sent in.
All right, is everybody all right with that? Yes, Ms. Ducharme? Oh, okay. That's a yes, not a I have a question. Okay. Yes, Mr. Taylor.
Well, I got questions. Sorry, President Visnick. Dr. Cushing, will this resolution reduce hockey costs directly?
Mr. Taylor, I don't believe that question is appropriate at this point in time. We are going to talk about athletic fees when we talk about the rest of the budget.
I think it is, but okay. Will this resolution increase MCAS scores directly?
This is a resolution to support 54 educators in the Beverly Public Schools, be they principals, assistant principals, equity coordinators, or teachers who may have missed and been shut out of an opportunity. I appreciate in a certain manner and vein the questioning, but this is designed to demonstrate support for our educators across the district. And while it's only 54 people, we will be addressing hockey fees. We will be addressing how our curriculum directors support MCAS growth and scores this evening, and a significant amount of other very important topics.
I will pile on and say that there is actually, I do think this supports our district, because when somebody retires, and we've had conversations, we've had at least one question about whether we would entertain early retirement buyouts. When we buy out a teacher that has been here a long time, who's close to retirement, we can hire 2 new teachers for that one salary. So it is very much a monetary issue. And if I can hire 2 teachers, then, or if I can say, all right, I freed up that much money, and maybe I hire 1 as the replacement, and I use the extra money to do something else to reduce whatever. So I do think that from your monetary point of view questions, it is relevant.
I'm going to disagree, because if I'm an educator who's 30 years old, I've only served for 5 years, and you want me to pass a resolution as a school committee to support this, the Retirement Plus program relies on years of service and age. I'm not sure. I think this is a great bill, by the way. I think this is a great bill. I think this is a fantastic idea because it was rolled out terribly and it needs to be corrected. But if we start making resolutions like this, we really need to ask ourselves, what's next? Are we going to start passing bills to talk about Tennessee educational Senate bills or something like that that relate to education? I think this is a really good thing. You know, it's a really good bill. I'm not opposed to it. My wife took advantage of it. I think it's a really good bill. But your senator's email address is joan.lovely@masssenate.gov. She appears in person at the Council on Aging in Beverly, and I believe she will do so in a week or 2. I am not sure what the role of the Beverly Public School Committee is in this, and I think we are falling on a deep tangent. And this is why people I hear from, when I talk to them about the school committee, say, what are you guys doing? And when I ask 19 people what the most important thing the school committee should be focused on, not one of them could tell me what Retirement Plus was.
I appreciate your informal poll, and what I will say to that, and then I will call to move the question myself, is that we as a body, and really that's probably just at this point in time the mayor and I, have voted on resolutions in the past that made a difference in our community, for our students, for our school system, for our educators. We are best when we work together as a team. Any further questions? There's a motion on the table. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All those opposed? 1. Ms. Coelho, 5-1 with 2, 3 of 5. Do the math for me, somebody. I'm very tired. Who abstained? Can you raise your hand if you abstained, please? Thank you. With our 2 educators as abstaining. Next, what do you got, boss? What, Mr. Mayor? Yes, Mr. Mayor.
I'm sorry, if it was 5, 1, and 2, we're missing somebody.
All right, we had 1. Who voted no? There we go. There's our 1. So I miscounted. 1 and 2 are definitely correct. That makes 3. So it was 6. 6 said yes, Ms. Coelho. I apologize. Good mathing, Mr. Mayor. You'll pass the MCAS.
So I'd like to provide an opportunity to turn on my microphone. So just quickly, wanted to provide a quick update. This presentation that you're seeing now was done about 2 years ago, but there are some updates. And so technology department staffing, here are the people who help run our technology. You'll notice moving into next year, it is a staff of 6. Over the past decade, a focus has been really on hardware. BHS one-to-one lease program, one of the first in New England, has really been recognized by Apple. Commercial was produced of Beverly Public Schools during COVID because of the smooth transition. We were able to switch one-to-one during COVID. Entire network has been rebuilt and management has been largely brought in-house. I personally was impressed in something you'll see later on in the cost of our wireless access points. Unfortunately, it's not just you buy it and you get to use it for the life of the piece of equipment. All of these things now come with annual or contract term licensing that then needs to be renewed. So not necessarily a hidden cost, but a cost that you wouldn't necessarily, I never expected personally. So the network upgrade, a cost savings of $340,000 to school, configuring all the hardware in-house, all right? I will say in doing this work elsewhere, that was work that was going to be for a similarly situated district over $1.2 million. And so just this work here to be able to save this and configuring this in one weekend at the middle school is simply amazing. So cost savings that was talked about previously, $350,000 for digital signage across the middle school and an annual fee of $14,000 a year. All right, so skipping forward, custom tech databases to track all technology in the district, received $420,000 and $500,000 previously for grants in technology. And so costing other districts $40,000 annually. An online verification portal. Ed Gleason has been tremendous in helping with that, which saves money that is generally speaking an add-on for other programs. So setting up devices annually. I was meeting with one of our team today, talking about the work that they do over the summer to wipe all the iPads, to reprogram them and make sure that they're ready and functional for the next year. Here's some cost savings and one-time costs that the district is able to really help and reduce. So just providing this as a opportunity for you to see. I will say that some questions have arisen around breakage in iPads. An iPad reset program was launched that helps work students with some consequences for inappropriate usage, and those numbers have really shrunk from a high point of I think around 300 down to 66 last year. All right, it was post-COVID, coming out of COVID, students returning to the building, and it was initially cut in half and then dropped down to, I think it was 70-something, and I know definitively the number was 66 last year. So just some other quick technology. So here you've got the 520 access points across the district. There's $100 cost per year. I was receiving quotes of $900 over a 5-year term. So just there alone, we're saving $400. That's not for Beverly. That's for when I was previously in charge of technology. I was stunned. You can see here our local similarly situated districts for staff and students. Peabody's a little bit higher than us by about 1,400 students last I checked. But we're operating efficiently at 6 staff members. I will say one thing that we don't have is a director of instructional technology. So when we think about how much students are using devices, what students are using devices for, that's a valuable resource to have. But that's not something we're fiscally ready for at this point. Project progress and various initiatives. So they've created an in-house AI server. One of the big challenges with educators using AI is if you use ChatGPT and you forget to take out a student's name, or you put in various service delivery, or you're trying to figure out how can I build a plan to help this student in my classroom, and you use their name or other identifying factors, that is then becomes part of the larger database, which then can resurface who knows where. Building an in-house AI server puts certain firewalls where it is literally on our network and well protected. I know Gary Pradanis, from speaking with him earlier this year, led a PD on it on our, I forget if it was I think it was the November PD day, or one of the half days, but I know he's done that work. I know Steve Palomo has been doing that. But the one-time hardware cost was $600 as opposed to outsourcing it through vendors of the costs you can see. So they've done initial upgrades to various portals and student information systems. That's what SIS stands for. Primarily, it helps increase the data accuracy as opposed to having multiple hands entering data as paper forms come in, and hopefully more system integrations for future workflow. And so it's internal development, which means zero additional cost. So I just wanted to provide a quick technology update. There's no need to vote on anything, but one thing that I'm really interested in, you might have heard that Sweden, as one example, has really removed a lot of technology from classrooms and gone back to pen and paper. I'm interested to see what other districts across the Commonwealth and country are doing, and how might be the best thing to, as the pendulum swung, primarily because of the pandemic, as well as, and I was someone who once said this, well, MCAS is moving to the computer, so we have to make sure our kids are not hindered by the device. I think the educators around the room might recall those conversations. So the pendulum has swung. And the question is the screen time students are engaging with in our schools, all right, and the things that they might be seeing as relates to a conversation earlier around AI deepfakes, are those things that we can truly protect our kids against, set up guardrails, or should we be looking at other ways to engage our students? Not removing technology completely, but this is something that I'd like to engage with our community on over the summer and then into the fall, as well as all of our educators, just to see where we are and what are the levers that we should be pulling to really engage our students. Okay, so without any questions, sorry, I apologize, that's your job. All right. Perfect.
Yes, Mr.
Okay.
Sharm.
I'll make it quick. I just want to say thank you for putting it on the agenda, because I know I approached you with a lot of questions, and you thank you for all the detail. Thank you for this. That exceeded what I was hoping for. I would have, of course, at some point to have a conversation depending on what you find out over the summer in terms of usage and where we feel the benefits. I think there's a lot of conversation about the pendulum swinging. I'm trying to be really quick, Mr. Mayor. I just want to make sure that my request for it to be on the agenda tonight was specific to budget, and just making sure that we as a district are doing what we can to seize any opportunities for RFPs. We're looking closely at, what the structure costs.
Yep.
It sounds like we've done a lot of work, great work as a district to.
One thing that I don't have on a slide or anything like that is our internet costs for 3-year contracts over the last 4 or 5 internet 3-year contracts have decreased significantly. All right. And one of the reasons why we can do that is because however it was done, whether it was Beverly Public Schools, the city of Beverly has its own dark network. All right. So which is basically like all city buildings connected on a network. All right. Well, what that does is instead of having Comcast deliver individual internet to each of the, say, 8 Beverly Public Schools buildings, all right, where each one of those is an individual delivery point, we're able to reduce by delivering to one point and then distributing ourselves in a way, for lack of a better term. And so that significantly reduces the cost exposure for the district as opposed to having 8 individual delivery points. It brings that cost down as one example. Okay, so as we move into our budget discussion this evening, it's 8:55, and I'm going to try to be very speedy with my presentation without cutting any corners or providing any less detail. So our critical essential question we've discussed numerous times: how do we maintain and improve upon instructional practices and comprehensive student support while operating within fiscal limits? Here are our budget priorities. We've discussed them significantly. These will also serve as the guard posts and themes for my entry plan reporting that will be coming soon. Budget drivers, we've discussed these numerous times. I appreciate the committee and I respect the members who could not find it to vote, and I respect everything tonight, but I do appreciate the availability for the school choice offsets. So I just want to be clear about that. I appreciate both sides of that discussion. So I do want to say that we've had questions in relationship to leadership positions in the district, and I want to take a few minutes to address that. In a district the size of Beverly Public Schools, there is really nothing as a non-student facing position. Our cafeteria workers who feed our students, and if you were in F&F today, you were able to hear that conversation. Our custodians who sweep, pick up, clean our buildings, make them extraordinarily presentable. I will say, having worked in several districts, this is the most well-kept district I have seen. And we do it on a very, very small crew, all right? I apologize if everything. So the curriculum directors, who I'm going to address specifically here, people who might seem our business office. I want to be clear, coming from other districts where there were routine, almost like every other week when payroll hit, there were educators, custodians, other members of the staff who had payroll problems. Their checks were wrong. Something that you think might be easy was wrong. Reporting to MTRS was incomplete for years. All right, the Beverly Public Schools right now does not suffer from those problems. All right, all of those things help to maintain and keep our educators, be they leaders or in the classroom, or our educators who are serving in the cafeteria, working as custodians, working as paraprofessionals, coaches on the field. They're not having to worry about their pay being right or not showing up, as I'd seen happen previously. So when we talk about student-facing positions, in a district of our size, it is critical to realize that everybody is a student-facing position. I would say that perhaps I am the least student-facing position, unfortunately. Beverly Public Schools currently employs 4 directors serving as STEM coordinators and humanities directors across the middle and high school. Curriculum directors are a critical bridge for district initiatives, state mandates, and classroom instruction, ensuring access and equity, all right, to high-quality instructional materials and evidence-based practices. Their work promotes consistency, coherence. If you Google educational coherence, you'll find lots of research-based articles. You'll find a book talking about practices from the field, among many, about the turnaround efforts of Chicago, published in 2010 by an author by the name of Brake. It's a wonderful read. All right, schools can't do it without leaders doing the work. A director of restorative practices who serves the middle school, supporting implementation of the updated 2022 discipline regulations that prioritize alternatives to suspension and expulsion. Well, exclusion. I apologize. We're not supposed to really use the word expulsion anymore. This role provides targeted support for students with greater needs. These leadership positions are student-facing and are critical to our success. So, as part of the leadership roles of our curriculum directors, all right, I wanted to provide the curriculum review cycle that has been done since 2020 and projected, all right, out over the next 5 years, all right? So I will say, when we talk about wellness, when we talk about world language, all right, those are leadership positions that we don't have. Leadership positions, and I know I've spoken frequently about having an athletic director but not having a fine and performing arts director, but we don't have a director of social emotional learning who oversees directly our clinical support staff of LMHCs, licensed mental health clinicians, and LICSWs, licensed independent clinical social workers, or LCSWs, licensed clinical social workers. All right, so again, I would argue and have said numerous times, our district is very thin when it comes to leadership. We're thin in a lot of places, but we are thin when it comes to leadership. All right? To deploy this work is critical. Curriculum directors play a central role in improving teaching, learning, and equity across the district. All right? they ensure coherence and provide resources not only for students, but as well as staff. A curriculum is only good as the educator delivering it. The director replaces compliance-based supervision with ongoing job-embedded mentorship, doing demonstration lessons, finding new resources, working team data meetings, all right? And so that's where this next slide comes in. And I'm not going to read all of the sub-bullets, all right? When I share this out later today, you'll be able to see those, all right? But it's really about improving teaching, learning, equity for every student. There's a technical piece of teacher evaluation, making sure that we are following the state's regulations on those, but also establishing coherent, high-quality instructional systems, developing coaching systems, all right? Expanding student opportunities and access, ensuring accountability and compliance, leading data-driven decision-making, designing and delivering professional learning, supporting instructional innovation and school-wide initiatives, and building a collaborative, trust-based culture. Our restorative practices. So, in 2014, the laws changed on discipline. It used to be quite easy to suspend or in school suspend a student. After 2014, that really required more paperwork, more notice, and providing, under the 14th Amendment of the Constitution of the United States, due process for our students when, in particular, suspending or disciplining in other manners that are substantial. Pursuant to these changes, before suspending or excluding students from school, expelling, schools must consider ways to re-engage the student and, in certain circumstances, implement alternative measures. You have to track what your alternative measures were. And we're doing that at our middle school. All right? So the amendment adds these requirements. All right? And so alternative remedies required by the law include, but are not limited to, mediation, conflict resolution, restorative justice, and collaborative problem solving. All right? A great book that provides resources around restorative justice is called Circle Forward. It's an active workbook that provides resources to educators. All right? But it's much deeper than just being handed a book. It's having someone in the building who can coach and develop staff, who establishes restorative and relational systems, who works establishing equity with families, all right, who ensures accountability and compliance, because the 2022 amendments are there. We have to comply with them, all right, and it's the right thing to do. You'll hear me frequently say, if not already, we can do things right or we can do right things. I'm interested in doing them both. I'm more interested in doing things that are doing right things. Facilitating restorative reentry and mediation, analyzing impact and equity and engagement, and then building a collaborative trust-based system. If you just give me 1 second, apologize. I just want to also share some of the work that our curriculum directors do as they, I always get hung up when Zoom changes things, all right? But to quickly show, like, here's the Beverly High School new curriculum timeline. Significant amount of work goes into this, all right? Here's piloting for Beverly Middle School, Wit and Wisdom, all right? Here's, and, grades 6 through 8, implementation of Reading Reconsidered. Here's looking at benchmark data in data team meetings. Big picture on MCAS, all right? Accountability percentages have improved, all right? So at Beverly High School, we've moved from 36 to 48, and at BMS, from 2023 to 2025, we've moved from 40% to 90%, 49%, sorry. Read that 9 first, all right? Looking at our comparisons of the school versus the state, this is information that you've seen previously, or I should say this body has seen previously, and want to just make sure that you see it again. This is the work that our curriculum directors and others are doing on a daily basis, a weekly basis, a daily basis, being involved in schools to make sure that there's coherence across our systems. That when you go into one classroom, the expectations should be pretty darn similar to another classroom. And you don't have to worry about instructional variation. Slideshow. Okay. So the director of restorative practice we have examples: restorative sheets, restorative conversations, restorative circles. All right. Some 30 to 60 minute for defiant choices or disruption. Half a full day commonly might be for ISS or physical altercations, but trying to have longer interventions, getting to know what the challenges are, seeing those types of things, and how do we bring back our kids so that the situation is restored between their behavior and the aggrieved party. All right, and also developing, really developing kids who don't reoccur. All right, but that takes significant amount of work. All right, so just want you to know, in a district of our size, when we talk about student-facing positions, everybody is a student-facing position, and as I said previously, perhaps I am the least student-facing. But it is critically important that these staff members who are here with us tonight, that we understand that their work is critically important, and we cannot move the ball forward without them and their impact to students. As we move into our budget discussion, all right, our level services request, simply moving from one year to another with the same as it is, all right, would be a 6.77% increase. All right, so essentially budget number one. Our critical needs budget, which really looks at a lot of things to add, not everything, because if I wanted everything that I just mentioned, from a world language director to a fine and performing arts to many other things across the district that were just mentioned, that number would be significantly higher. All right, but approaching a critical needs budget increase, all right, not everything in the kitchen sink budget increase, would be 7.14%. And then what will be my recommendation, all right, and trust me, I do support the Beverly Public Schools receiving more, but I also realize the fiscal constraints facing the city, facing homeowners and parents and many others, because those constraints are known by myself as well, of 5.2%, which will turn out to be a net FTE reduction of 2 positions. All right. I would like to say that Salem has a net reduction of 31. Some part of that is related to a school consolidation. So I believe that's 19 positions from their school consolidation, and the other remaining positions coming from budget reductions. All right. Triton has seen 27 staff reduced. And I know other districts, I can't speak to Malden, their override failed. South Hadley's override failed. They received probably a one-time infusion from Mount Holyoke College. But still, these districts are struggling. So FY26 appropriated budget summary. All right, this is where we are right now, a grand total of $85,372,614 of expenditures that you can see how they are distributed, their munis abbreviation, and the local budget. And then the total number of FTEs across the district. level services budget summary. Again, pretty much the same, just going up with our contractual increases. The critical needs budget summary, all right, which would increase our staffing, sorry, wrong way, by about 12 FTEs. We presented this back, I believe, on March 25th. That's all been linked. I will reshare all of those artifacts with you so that you have them all at the same time in the same location. All right, and the balanced budget summary. All right, of $89,872,614. Again, you can see how much of our budget goes into our human resources costs. So the numbers presented here from our grants and offsets in grants and revolving funds assume certain fee increases to transportation, preschool, and athletics. School choice would have to be reduced by $60,000 if we did not accept kindergartners. We did that, so we don't have to make that assumption at this point. But, you know, these are the areas where we can find ways through school choice, through others, to support certain things. There are times when a position may have to go on school choice. That should be seen as a one-time fix, all right, because that is not generally seen as solid, sustainable fiscal practice. And I have known of a district, not worked there, where school choice quickly flipped from being $1 million positive to being $800,000 negative in a very short period of time. And they had put so many staff members on school choice that they had nowhere to go but really deep cuts to staff. All right. These are here for you to see. Okay. Here are our revolving funds. Sorry, I'm just trying to find one thing as I look here. The projected balance of our athletics revolving fund next year will be $137,000. The projected ending balance at this point will be $125,000. I'll be discussing that here momentarily. But, you know, those are, this is where we've been. You'll notice that in FY25, that athletics revolving was $237,000. All right. So, you know, that delta is shrinking as time moves forward here, which is one of the reasons why the fee discussion is important. So transportation revolving fund and fees, my proposal stands here to have an increase. For those who don't know, you know, students in grades K to 6 who live more than 2 miles from their neighborhood school are mandated to provide transportation. We are mandated to provide them. We may provide transportation in students who live less than 2 miles or those who are enrolled in grades 7 to 12. We do that in this district. I think that's a great thing. But there is a charge that comes for this optional transportation. Students who are considered free or reduced under the National School Lunch Program are also eligible for free transportation. So our budget for 2027 is based on a new rider fee of $346.50, a 10% increase, and a family cap of $693, which is an increase of $31.50 per rider, maximum increase of $63 per family before any need. Our anticipated additional revenues is $15,000. So athletics revolving funds and fees. So here we discussed this previously. Here are the fees from other school districts around. This does not include updated information from Danvers that recently increased their fees. Not dramatically, but they have increased their fees. So at this time, I'm amending my proposal. And as part of that amendment, I'm also committing myself, our athletic director, our high school principal, and others to really engage with stakeholders to incorporate additional community feedback in future fee proposals. All right. So at this time, I'm proposing for Tier 1 football and ice hockey an approximate 10%. All of these are approximate because we didn't want to have the $347.50 or whatever it was. So we kept the math simple. So approximate increase of $35 to $350. Tier 2 athletics, you can read them there, don't need to do that for you. $290 for an increase of $30. Athletics, Tier 3, $230, an increase of $20. And athletics at middle school, an increase of $10. Okay? So the anticipated additional revenue from this is $30,000, and have provided summary costs to the committee on that. But a part of this is going to be that we need to have a robust conversation around fees, and I would say not just athletics, but a robust conversation around our fees. I want to be clear that I stand by the $1,000 increase for hockey. I understand how people feel about that, but the costs of some of our sports really need to be looked at versus how we are considering interscholastic athletics as part of our district program. I'm a former high school 3-sport athlete, college athlete, and lifelong athlete. I know the benefits of athletics, but I've also heard from parents about concerns for reading intervention, special education, kindergarten paras, and I don't mean that with any flippancy. I'm simply saying right now our athletics program costs about $900,000. We bring in approximately $200,000. I also wanted to take a moment to apologize that when I was speaking previously about the cost of ice time, I was not speaking directly about the cost at Endicott, which is $270 to $290 an hour, depending on, but I was speaking more generally of ice time across community, unless you're going to a VHL rink, and in that case, you get what you pay for, and a broken down Zamboni on one of our tournament games. They also refused to kick in any money for the second bus, so I'm not happy. All right, so that's athletics. Class size, guidelines, and targets. During the 2005-2006 school year, kindergarten 22 student, you can read it, and then the district and school committee recognized that small class sizes may be desirable in practice and have aimed to meet class sizes that are below. This is published in our budget book from last year and will be again this year. So kindergarten through grade 2 at 22. I think I spoke earlier around 20 for kindergarten. I apologize for misspeaking. But kindergarten grades 3 through 8, 25, grades 9 through 12, 25 to 30 students per class. All right, so here you see a table that has across the top the class size targets, and you can see the projections for next year. Again, please take kindergarten as projections at this point, but you can see across the district we are largely well within the targets.
Dr. Cushing.
Yes.
Do those numbers on this slide represent our inclusion students?
I'm trying to remember. Yes, I believe they do. Hold on. Yes. Yes. Sorry, I just want to make sure. It's been a long night already and a longer day.
I understand. So I see the mayor's hand. I'm just going to finish why I brought that up, because I think we've talked about this before, that it does include the inclusion. So that is the maximum a class size would be. And in fact, some portion of the day it's less than that.
Yes.
Correct?
And I'll let, I mean,
I'm getting a nod from the back row, just for the people watching at home. Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Thanks. Is this current or projected? It doesn't have a year on it.
no, this is projected.
So this is 26, 27.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep. These are our projections. Sorry, I'll update this slide. I didn't realize I missed that.
I love that the first column says kinder. Just a little, made you smile. All right.
And
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
sorry, English teacher and me, I'll leave it go.
Okay. Anytime, I'll happily take that. But just moving on, I have a target that I've set for myself. Here is a sheet that you can't read, but I believe I printed copies for you. If not, I apologize that was not included. I can make sure you get that. But this is just the raw data that supports this slide here. So you've got the sections across, you've got the average class sizes, and then let's move on to Beverly Middle School. All right. So again, we have the class size targets across the top. We have our on-team sections, all right, proposed for next year, all right. The enrollment adjustment down, this is including all students across the school. So while the average is 24.7, again, there will be very few times that's the number that teachers have in front of them. But here we are with 24, grade 7, 25.1, 22.3. This is inclusive of all students in the school, regardless of separate programming or how they are in. And then at Beverly High School, we see here our projections for grade 9 at 260 students, 289, 321, 318.
Yes, Mr. Taylor.
Just a quick question of clarification. Does that mean in grade 7, they're more than the class size guideline for a class size?
So remember, that is every single student in grade 7, even if they are in a sub-separate program, all right, we have included them in the chance that they may be in a class at any given time as part of their individual education program. All right.
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you for making that effort on the total number. We've kicked that around for many years, and there have been times when people felt it was misleading that they weren't included there. I'm wondering if we might help us all if we took that class size line and we put the total number inclusive of everybody as an average, and then a backslash, and then the number when the children who are for part of the day to a significant part of the day not in those classes, look at that as an average. We could have them side by side for each class. Does that make any sense? It feels like it would be helpful for context. Is the question clear?
I
question is
understand the
clear.
question.
Okay.
The question is clear, and I understand and respect it. And while it would not be revealing any individual student data, I worry about the implications of the unintended consequential implications of it. It kind of goes back to almost the school choice discussion of when a student is in our schools, they're our student, regardless of their needs, their what's the word I'm looking for? I apologize. Their profile, their personal profile, whatever it is, they're all our students. I respect and understand 100% Yep, as an example, let's just say hypothetically I'm going to use a number way out of whack, that there are 40 students in grade 5 who are sub-separate. So that brings us down to 306. 14 divides into 306, and that number comes down to something I can't do for math, even if I were, first awake in the morning. But it would be a significantly reduced number against 24.7. So I understand the question. It's just I worry about the unintended implications or consequences thereof.
And,
A little less than 22?
well, you had the chance to write it down, math it out.
I will say, Mr. Thomas, if you want to see some math skills, it was amazing.
Shout out.
Yes.
So I guess I appreciate your thinking, and maybe we all ruminate on that. If the number ends up being misleading because it's overcounting, I'm not sure how that helps us all in the conversation.
We've had robust conversations about this at the table. In all honesty, back and forth quite a bit. It's just, I don't want to.
How about we say we'll take it under consideration and we move to the next item on the agenda?
Well, I got a few more slides, just so we're clear. I don't have a fancy graphic for Beverly High School, and I'm now 2 minutes over my self-directed target of 30 minutes. And I said I wasn't going to accept questions, but I did, so that's on me. For 2025 and 2026, the average class sizes at Beverly High School for science, all right, are 19, heading into 26-27 with a projected reduction will be 22 students per class. Again, with all due respect to any educators affected by enrollment reductions, all right, I have all respect for the work that they do. But we will not reduce offerings, and average class size will only go up to 22. Now, again, that might mean there's a 26 versus 16, all right? But classes are built in a very thoughtful manner by our high school scheduling team. All right, moving through slides that you've seen already. These again are our reductions, district level, all right, and critical needs asks. So 2 paraprofessionals for our preschool across the district, 5. Remember, in the critical needs budget, that number was 8. All right, so we're looking to move in a direction that builds over time as opposed to taking the chunk all at once. But and then just a small buffer for out of district anticipated additional increases. We are definitely running that thin, but we're trying to divert resources to make sure that, as I said, all of our staff across the district impact students. All right, elementary school reductions and critical needs additions. So the enrollment reductions of grade 4, grade 3, grade 4, that was accurately shown in the previous slides. Reductions of the fellows, budget reductions of instructional coaches. That is something that those individuals provide a tremendous amount of value, and that is a painful reduction. Okay, I want to be clear about that. While proud of what we've built here, these are there are a lot of choices in here that are made to help us address critical needs, but are still difficult choices. All right, but at elementary school, critical needs, looking to add a special education teacher to Ayers, moving one from Centerville to Hannah, and at Centerville, increasing an SSP para. All right. And middle school reductions and critical requests, reducing a 5th grade team. Yeah, you just saw those numbers. The middle school registrar, and increasing an assistant principal to help drive the culture of the middle school to small learning communities that have been proven by both the Gates and Annenberg Foundations to really impact student outcomes. high school reductions, a 0.5 guidance counselor, a 0.5 school adjustment counselor, a science teacher, just talked about those budget implications, and increasing 2 special education teachers. Thank you. Appreciate it. Happy to take or move on to the next item on the agenda, which
So I'm just gonna I'm just gonna give a little summary for everybody. We have seen 3 different budgets. We have to have a budget to go into the May 13th budget hearing. The budgets are built off of the fees that you saw this evening in terms of increased bus fee and some minor sports increases, not the previous large sports increase. And I heard you say that for the May 13th meeting, you're going to use one of the 3 budgets that you've presented to us as the base of that conversation. That is not to say that is what we will necessarily vote on, but we have to have something around which to have the discussion with the public. And so will you please repeat which of the 3 budgets you're going to use?
Yeah, I will be presenting as the recommended budget, realizing fiscal constraints, and really, when you look at financial forecasting and all of those types of things, 4.5 million of the city's available, $5.7 million based on fiscal forecasting, and a 5.27%. I will be recommending the balanced budget, which addresses critical needs, makes some tough and difficult choices. I'm not saying that those are things I'm happy about, but I will be presenting the balanced budget. And as you get this slideshow, that's in the green. Green on slide 31.
For those of us who are not colorblind, it's green.
Actually, I assume it's green because I am.
All right. We have nothing this evening to vote on about that. Any questions before I let the superintendent off the hot seat? Yes, Ms. Robinson.
I just wanted to address, because you spent a lot of time discussing the director positions and defending these positions, and I did ask for that, so I wanted to say thank you for bringing that forward. I did ask, though, for like examples and data, and that was really, really fast, just boom, 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 right through everything. I would, and I think it would be helpful for a lot of us to have, our curriculum director is obviously not ready this moment, but walk us through what they do to increase test scores, how they align curriculum, how they make sure common exams are created, not canned from, so that they're created across grade levels, so everybody is having a similar experience. I would very much like to see that, and I think there was a lot of time defending these positions. I would love to hear, some of the positions being defended that the teachers are losing. The teachers are losing a lot of positions, and I would like to hear that kind of passion for the teachers too. So I just wanted to add that.
Ms. Lennox.
Thank you. How did you decide or figure out the tiers in terms of sports fees? Because
The tiers were established 13 years ago.
Oh, okay.
We bandied about several proposals, 30% across the board, having it a one that might be, your first sport is 500, your second sport is 300, your third sport is 100. That's just an example. I think we were slightly under that. And so, encouraging third sport, we looked at a flat fee. But after really going through a lot of those, while I heard from the community, and the reality is, as I said, I stand by my initial proposal. given some of those things, and that would probably help me be able to, protect other positions across the district. But I think we need to have a robust conversation about it. And so what I did was I looked at an approximate 10% increase as a slight round up on tiers 1 and 2, and a slight round down on tier 3. And by slight, I think it's $1. But so.
And I think that is, we can task our FNF very early, maybe even over the summer, in starting those conversations, so that this time next year, when we're looking at a budget plan, we can maybe there can be some shifting. If you look at the big sheet that you received today, we have 6 of our sports that with their fee collection and their ticket, if they bring in some gate receipts, 6 are below 50% of what it actually costs. 4 are above 100, and a whole bunch more in the middle. So, it's something to look at. Certainly, whether our tiers, if we have enough tiers, and who's in which tier. I don't believe at this late in the game, I don't believe now is the time to change them. However, again, that is something that would start in FNF. So I'm looking at you, Ms. Coelho. This is a conversation that you guys will have to have with the superintendent, with the athletic director, who may or may not. I don't know if he's here. I can't see that far. Yeah, so that'll be on the docket. Certainly, very early into the next budget cycle. Yes, Mr. Taylor.
I agree with Member Robinson. I went to, again, as I shared, I went to the Centerville PTO on the 14th. It's too bad we didn't have time to talk about what our community is saying, but they said exactly what you said, Member Robinson, when you were talking about teachers who may, suffer from reductions. And they were worried about their quality of life and job concerns, et cetera, Dr. Cushing. So it might be helpful for us to, just hear from you about what kind of transition plan a person who is leaving the district might have. Thank you. If that's not clear, let me know.
It was clear.
Yes, Ms. Lennox.
So was it 2005, 2006 was the last time that class size recommendations were voted on and discussed? Is that was in your presentation, 2005?
Yes.
So it hasn't been talked about or voted on since then? Because in my opinion, so much has changed in the past couple of years, and I feel like that's very outdated, and that's something that we should look at.
Yeah, it has been talked about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like every year, we talk about it. We haven't changed it. We haven't voted to change it since we've been on. And again, I guess I'll just say from an institutional knowledge point of view, it is a guideline. We do not have anything contractually. So even if we had a guideline and financially we couldn't meet that guideline, there'd be really just no negative implication of that, right? I mean, the guidelines are the guidelines. We do have goals. We don't have contractual obligations to those guidelines. I'll just make that clarification of the nuance there of that language. All right, anybody else before we go to the next item on the agenda? All right, next item on the agenda is a report, our committee reports. The first committee report, Standing Committee on Finance and Facilities. Ms. Coelho.
Finance and Facilities last met this evening on 4/29. We had an update on the B&G report that included reports on the HVAC system, drills, air filters, maintenance during the April break, and planning projects for this summer. We approved gifts to schools that came forward tonight, most of them being from the Bev Ed grants. We had grants for approval We had one budget transfer. We accepted a new student activity account that came forward here this evening as well. We also had two policies that came for a first reading, one that piggybacked with a presentation from Christina Leal from Food Services from the wellness policy.
I do not have, all right, I'm going to call for some votes, you guys, that came out of FNF, but I do not have a new student activity account. It'll come next meeting? Okay, thank you. All right, so the first is, I will make the motion to accept the gifts of schools as recommended out of FNF, a total amount of $500. Yes, with gratitude. Do I have a second? Thank you, Ms. Cahill. Any questions or comments on the gifts to schools? All those in favor? Any opposed? Ms. Coelho, that passes 8-0 as the mayor has stepped out. Next item up is acceptance of grants as recommended by FNF. I'll make the motion that we accept $1,711, part of it being a Title I grant, part of it being a Title II grant. Do I have a second?
Second.
Oh, who fought over that? Pick a name, Ms. Coelho, will you please?
Okay, I'll go with second.
Any questions on these two grants? All those in favor? Any opposed? That passes 8-0, Ms. Coelho. Next item is a budget transfer in your packet, number 1107. We're basically moving money into the contracted services for special education. I will make the motion that we accept this budget transfer.
Second.
Oh, thank you, Ms. Robinson. Any questions on this budget transfer? All right, all those in favor? Any opposed? That passes 8-0. 3 policies from FNF for a first reading. They will come to us in the next meeting for the second reading and for a vote. And your next meeting is at the end of the month, right?
End of next month, yes.
The end of May. Okay, thank you. Our next committee report is Ms. Ducharme with the Standing Committee on Curriculum, Instruction, and Student Life.
Thank you, Madam Chair. In tonight's CISL meeting, we discussed or had a really nice presentation on the high school CTE experiences, the Pathways program, and the early college program. If you have a chance to go back and view it, I would highly encourage you to do so. We had some nice information shared by some students. There was helpful information specific to the After Dark program, which courses are available between our partnership with Essex Tech and Salem High School. We have opportunities in advanced manufacturing, construction craft laborers, early ed and care, automobile, and medical assistance. We talked about the mentorship and REACH program opportunities. So I would encourage everybody to go back and watch that. We have 2 policies coming forward, IHBH Alternative School Programs and IHCA Summer School. I have 1 notation for the committee on the summer school program. It still says Briscoe Middle School. It should say Beverly Middle School. So when we get to the time when we need to review, discuss, and approve that, I'll be bringing forward that motion to amend that policy.
And you next meet in 2 weeks.
May
We have you guys
13th.
off schedule, right?
Yeah, May 13th is our next meeting.
Fantastic. May 13th. No.
No?
No.
Oh, just kidding. That's not happening. Forgot about that. Well, we're going to have to reschedule it then because it's on the calendar for May 13th. So between when we made this agenda, and I don't know how we did that, but we messed that up. So,
right. All right.
yep,
So
not
for
then.
everybody else, for everybody who's on CISL, May 13th, because May 13th is the public hearing for the budget. We were going to try to have the hearing and then CISL and then the committee of the whole. And realistically, we just don't think that's going to fit. So we will reschedule CISL.
We're going to have to do that. Yeah.
all
Since
right.
when we put this agenda together and then the realization of May 13th, I'm sorry I didn't catch that before tonight.
That's all right, I didn't either, sorry. All right, next is me with negotiations. We do have additional requests that have come in from Ask Me units, and we'll be discussing some updates about those in our executive session. And last but not least, our policy review subcommittee.
I'm sorry, what?
We are an awesome.
We are an awesome committee, according to Mr. Taylor. We had our last meeting on April 15th. We reviewed policies, file AA through ADF. There's some hyperlinks that we suggested. The only change in any kind of language was the committee asked that the Title IV coordinator the information be updated, or was it still Dr. Morgan? Because we weren't sure with his new position whether that still made him the Title IV coordinator. We asked that the word modification be changed to accommodations wherever it appears. This is all written out and sent to Mrs. Quill. Okay, and under some of it was changing from his and hers to theirs. And then in ADF, it was proposed to be changed parents and community to caregivers and community. So most of it was just like grammatical changes. It was nothing that was really significant. And I've sent all those to Ms. Quill.
Fantastic, thank you very much. All right, so at this point in time, I am making a motion that we vote to meet in executive session pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 38, Section 21A, for the following purposes, 7 and 3. Purpose 7 is to review and approve the executive session minutes from previous executive session on March 18th, 2026. And purpose 3, to discuss litigation. Beverly Teachers Association, Beverly School Committee, as an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on a litigating position of school committee, and so the chair declares, as well as purpose 3, to discuss strategy with respect to and in preparation for collective bargaining with the Ask Me units, because an open discussion may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining position of the committee, and to not return to open session.
Second.
And we need.
Second.
Well, that was my motion, and Ms. Coelho seconded it, so thank you. It is 9:48, and I'm taking a roll call. Mayor Cahill.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
Ms. Cahill. Yes. Ms. Ducharme. Yes. Ms. Robinson. Yes. Ms. Frost. Yes. Ms. Lennox.
Yes.
Ms. Coelho.
Yes.
Myself, yes. Thank you, administrators. Have a good night. All right, it's 9:48. We're going into executive session for reasons 7 and 3, and we will not return to open session.